Yes, please do. Okay. Ready? Alright. Let's get us going live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now everybody else can hear you. Hello, 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 folks. Welcome to a very special one-shot of Articles of the Arcana. I am Ray, the disembodied voice that you are hearing. One of the folks who are with Friends Who Roll Dice, one of the co-founders, just going ahead and introducing these wonderful people. We do have a few sponsors that go ahead and keep the channel running. Our first sponsor is the wonderful folks at So Nerdware. You can go ahead and use the code below to get 10% off of your order there. So Nerdware are fantastic at supporting smaller streamers and smaller streaming groups, and have recently done a line with Breedo in order to support Black creators directly, which has found quite a bit of popularity, so that is always awesome. We also have the wonderful folks at Grinding Coffee. Go ahead and throw in FWRD for 13% off there. They are a Black LGBT plus owned coffee company, and their blends are to die for. Seriously, so many awesome flavors. And let's be honest, if you work in the TTRPG sphere, 80% of the time you're drinking coffee. Let's be real. We do have a third sponsor in DM Emporium. However, DM Emporium is run by our friend Ty, who is having a baby. So that's super exciting. As a result, DM Emporium will be down for a little while, but I want you to go ahead and throw at Hitchhiker of the Mind all of your love, as he is getting ready to be a father. So he's super excited about that. Yeah. Other than that, we're part of the wonderful folks at Emporium as well, a TTRPG and variety streaming group. You can find a bunch of folks doing awesome stuff all around the interwebs, so go ahead and check all of them out. As you can see, we have a fantastic cast here and ready to go. I am going to go ahead and delay you no further and hand you over to Matthew here.
Oh boy. Yeah. So my name is Matthew. Matthew Gravelin. I make role-playing games, supplements, fiction, all sorts of weird stuff. My latest weird thing is I'm creating a supplement book for Troika that's all based on tarot. I have a couple of my co-conspirators here. Bree is one of our artists. John is helping me with the editing and writing. And we would like to put together a 72-page book full of character options, backgrounds, campaign prompts for storytellers, all based around tarot. So that's what we're here to show you tonight and give you a little taste of it.
Who's going first? Yeah, who's going first?
I can go first, I suppose. Koala, I'm going to close chat now because it's going to distract me, but Koala said John edits everything, and correct, because I'm John Boyle. I am a writer and editor for comics, games, and fiction. I'm currently working, like Matthew said, on Articles of the Arcana as an editor. I also work with Bree on her webcomic, The Phoenix. So if you have comics, games, fiction, anything, I am happy to work with you. You can find my commissions and stuff on my website. You can find me at Resident Bard on Twitter. If you want to DM me there. So I also stream talk shows and occasionally tabletop RPGs over on Rule of Lore. So you can find me there, usually on Friday evenings, talking about, I don't know, nerdy stuff usually. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, I'll just go. I'm Sam. You can find me on Twitter at @SamOnDamiel. I read tarot and play games sometimes. I just finished up a heart campaign on GoJG's channel, and you can catch me on Tuesdays on Salty Sweet Games playing Burn Bright, the new Roll20 RPG in space. It's very fun. So yes, at @SamOnDamiel, like the Lord of the Rings character, on Twitter.
I'll go next. Hi everyone, my name is Bree. John already said one of the things that I do. I'm a webcomic creator. I create the comic called The Phoenix. It is a sci-fi adventure comic that debuts every Friday. I'm also a Twitch streamer. I'm a variety art streamer. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. CDT, and Saturdays from 3 to 7 p.m. CDT. Yes. Oh, I just got real scared. Did I forget my own schedule? But I stream art on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and Thursdays are my gaming streams, and we're currently playing through Spiritfarer. So episode 8 is debuting tomorrow, and it's a really cool game. And if you have checked out any of the art on this channel, I did all of the promos and I've done me and John's character art on the overlay. So if you like my art, please follow me on Twitter. I am an artist. I do art for Articles for the Arcana and a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. So follow me on Twitter at BreeDonnan. You can also follow my Instagram and my Twitch at BreeDonnan as well. BRIDANANN. I think that is all I have.
Right. All right. I guess I'll go and speak the words. Hello. I am Bram, I am a freelance sound designer. You can find me on Twitter at Defiatos. I also do dabble a little bit into tabletop RPG design, which you can find a little bit of my stuff at defiatos.itch.io. And you can occasionally find me in boxes such as this one on Dicey Amazons, which is for the show Vibrant Legends, which is hosted on Dicey Amazons, either sometimes in the box or behind the box. That happens on converting time zones Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern time or 10 p.m. GMT, roughly about 4 daylight savings is a thing.
Unfortunately,
in that sort of time zone sphere, but now I'm here in this box, and you can follow me on Twitter at Defiatos.
Yay, we did the thing.
see, everybody was all professional and said like all the things that they do, and I did none of those things. So I think it was linked in chat. I'm at Mr. Matthew on Twitter, and I also have other games. You may know me from, I did some writing for Humblewood right there, and my game series, Mall Kids, which you can find on mr-matthew.itch.io. Yep, where is it? It's in this general pile of zines, this nonsense section over here. John's got it like
yeah, I've got it. It's sitting because I have the room on my bookshelf right now. It's
that's the good one.
up there showing off that awesome cover art.
Thank you. Yes, cover art by Caitlin Bruder. Awesome, amazing covers from all kids. There was just the rewards for the latest, like the expansion Kickstarter, are starting to hit people's mailboxes. And there was a brief stream about it a couple days ago, and they spent like 10 minutes talking about Mall Kids, and like 8 minutes of that was talking about Caitlin's cover art, which is totally valid. It was good. We are playing Troika today, which I don't want to get too far into the weeds on Troika here, but if you're kind of looking for a weird game, you want something a little crunchier, but you also like telling cool stories, I think Troika's worth a look at. It's a very small book, but it facilitates some very, very cool, interesting stories, which we're going to attempt to do one of those things today. As Bree mentioned, everybody's got a little character art next to their box. That is the tarot card art that has been produced for Articles of the Arcana so far. And again, all the characters that the players are portraying today are based on kind of my interpretation and gamification of tarot archetypes. So I don't know if each of you would like to talk a little bit about your tarot background and kind of a couple words about what it means to you. I mean, tarot is all about interpretation, so it really doesn't matter what I think about these cards. It's going to matter what you all think of these cards. Does that sound like something you'd want to do?
I'd be fine with that. I'm going to pull it up real quick, but I will do that.
I know my tarot background, I chose the Fool, which is right at the top of right at the beginning of the Major Arcana. When I was making my character, I very much liked the idea of somebody who was very sort of impulsive, naive, got very easily carried away in the moment with what they were doing, and found themselves just kind of borne along on the momentum from starting to roll down a hill. So that's kind of where my character Faye's like kind of existence comes from. And I think I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay, so for my character background, I chose the Hanged Man, which is another Major Arcana card, and I had like a waking nightmare this morning that I was going to start talking about the Hanged Man as a card and then go on for 3 hours, so I'm not going to do that. But I love it as a card about the moments of stillness while you're waiting for something. Maybe like Aaron Burr's song, Wait For It in Hamilton. And in this game, the background is very cool and includes a knife. And I think it works perfectly. I'm very excited. We'll
real
play
cool
through it
knife
together. I'm so excited.
So, and then just to call out the artist, the Fool was drawn by Bree. The Hangman is by Matthew Cartwright. I love working with artists because I can't remember what it's called. It's like anaphasia or something like that. I see no pictures in my head, which is apparently a very weird thing when I start talking with artists about it. My wife's an artist. She doesn't understand. So I don't see things in my head. So when Matthew presented me with the Hangman, I said, oh, I know what I'm going to write for this background now. Like this, I don't know why he put that knife there, but that knife is now very, very important and central to this character. So, yeah.
A knife.
A knife.
What do you have? A knife.
It's a pretty knife too. If that knife was a real knife, I would own that knife.
Good knife.
It's gorgeous. I love it.
I'll go into a little bit about the moon. Pretty much, from what I have interpreted of the moon is all about being a shape changer, like, werewolves with the moon. But this shape changer is a little bit more just way more chaotic. It doesn't just change from one thing to another. It's constantly shifting, and it doesn't really know what's happening. So that's sort of where I'm coming from a little bit with Xe. And it's also one of the backgrounds is that it's like we're always moving, always going away from something. So it's a little bit of like just a free spirit that doesn't have a destination, and it's just really just about being different and weird and not being one thing. And I have nothing. I have no possessions.
Bree, who made that amazing art? Who did that beautiful art?
I also did that one. I also did the moon. Talking a little bit about the art, I read the background that Matthew said, and I was like, I see. I can do this. Anyways, there we go.
So talking a bit about the background that I chose the Magician, which, look, it's also, on one hand, it's the Magician and there's just magic, and magic is fun. And in this kind of weird world game system that Troika is, I'm just like, well then, what can magic do? And then I also just reading into the background of the art a bit, just like the idea of like the magician is someone who is powerful, like a master. And I was like, well, what if somebody is just, and I just got idea like, well, let's play around with that journey of being the master or trying to be that master, but also having all this power, and maybe not just power, but weirdness, and see what happens if things go, oops.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Troika, there's a whole table in the back here called Oops, which I'm not going to show too much of because we made Bram promise not to read that because we're really hoping we get to roll on that table, and it's brutal. That table is one of the meanest tables I've ever read in my life. And then the Magician was drawn by Alex Perkins, which is, again, having 4 artists working on those cards is just amazing. Like seeing that deck is going to be so just weird and wonderful. And I honestly can't wait to have that all in one place and have that physical artifact, that pile of cards. Cause I think it's going to be my favorite deck. I just know that. I know that right now.
Speaking of the tarot deck, we're sort of close to funding on the Kickstarter, and I think you had something planned for us if that happens tonight, Matthew.
Yes. So as luck would have it, we are 94% funded. So I think we need I don't know, 5 to, depending on your pledge level, 5 to 7 people backing this project would push us over funding right now. And if that happens, I have some prep, I have some notes that we're going to go through for this session. If we fund on stream, I have 3 very radical, awful, chaotic things that is going to happen. I don't know which one of them. I don't know what's going to happen. It could be any number of things. Maybe, chat gets to help decide what those things are. But in a group of characters and session prep that is already rather chaotic, these are going to go up to 11, 12, 15, 20, take the dial right off. It's going to be pretty weird. So if you haven't checked out the Kickstarter yet, it's at bit.ly/articles Arcana. Or you can search for Articles of the Arcana on Kickstarter. Hopefully a link will go into chat here in a second. But we have quite a lot of options here. If you want to get into, if you're into Troika and you just want some supplemental content, we have books, digital and physical. If you are new to Troika, we have some pledge levels where Troika is included in the pledge level for 60% off to get a digital copy of Troika with it. We also have the deck that we are funding. So when we fund, we're going to take the 36 cards from the book, make a supplemental deck. We have a stretch goal for $6,000 where I will pay the 4 artists to do twice as much work as previously agreed upon and make a complete 72 card deck. And then that'll be a thing. So if you're not into games, I'm not sure what you're doing watching me talk right now, but just on the off chance you're not into games or not into Troika, you can get just the tarot deck also. And then there are also some art prints that you can purchase. There's 5x7 art prints of 4 of the cards right now, plus the cover of the book, or you can get the whole bundle for $10 off. So there's a lot there. Again, even if you're not into Troika, or you're not into games, or you're not into tarot, like there's something in there probably for you to check out. And we would very greatly appreciate your support at this time. So that's the sales pitch. I think I can be done with the business stuff now.
Yay!
Okay, so I have a question. You've
Yes.
mentioned 3 of the 4 artists you said you have working. Who's the 4th one?
Yes, it's Trey. I think so. Here's the thing: it's TREZ. I've been saying Trey in my head, and every single time I get them in Discord, I forget to ask how it's pronounced. So I think it's Trey. I'm so sorry if it's not. I recognize that this is a failure on my part, but this is a very digital world. We haven't we just kind of work in. Sorry, I'm getting a Chrome notification saying it wants to relaunch. No, that would be the absolute worst thing in the world right now for me to relaunch Chrome. So yeah, that's Trey. Everybody's full names, everybody's pronouns, everybody's blurbs, everybody's links is on the Kickstarter page. So just go there and you can scroll down. There's a whole section. This was something that honestly, it was, sorry, I just saw a wicked pun in the chat. So good on you, Cyber Hero. That's Cybero Hero. Anyway, it was good. Good burn. When I started, I was just going to make I think I was just going to do 6 or 7, maybe 6 or 12 backgrounds, because I got into Troika and I'm like, I can do that. Tarot is interesting, right? And then it was 36, and then it was a campaign, and then it was artists, and then it was a physical book, and then it was I think, what do we have? It's me plus John as an editor plus 7 artists. So I have the cover artist and graphic designer is Ignacio Paul, and then I have the 4 mentioned background artists, and then there is Alex Sorensen and Amanda Frank are going to be helping filling in art in the kind of campaign prompts section. So the book was 80% art to begin with. And I'm like, no, we need a couple more artists. We got to put more art on some of these pages. So
We need more.
the book is basically going to be a children's book in that its picture to word ratio is going to be a bit absurd, but it's tarot. It's all about, visual aspects and impressions and stuff like that. If it didn't have gorgeous art, then what are we even doing here? So yes, thank you to that entire team. Thank you to 126 current backers who are getting us tantalizingly close to funding this. It's going to be kind of a wild ride to have this is the biggest project I've ever done. It's the biggest book I've ever worked on myself, individually. I'm thrilled that we're so close to funding. I'm thrilled to be able to work with such a wide array of talented and unique artists. And also I refer to the artists and John a lot, because John is when I'm speaking, John is the only non-artist that I'm speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been really amazing. And sometimes we just hang out in our team Discord chat and just kind of
and gif at each other.
And just and just chit chat and just have fun, which is kind of a side benefit of this project.
With all that, are we ready to start?
I think we're ready to start. Everybody kind of talked about their background. I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing game-wise. So I was originally going to actually write a campaign that was the journey of tarot, but then I'm being prescriptive and explicit with tarot doesn't make any sense. So I went away from that idea. And what you're going to get in the back is it's going to be 22 pages. It's the major arcana. There's a page for each card, and that page is going to be prompts and suggestions and themes for game runners to look at and say, I want to run a session today that feels like the Fool, which is what we're going to start with. What does that mean? And it's written in such a way that if you know nothing about tarot, you can still read this book and get the flavor of what the Fool is. If you know tarot, then you can inject your own meanings. One of the cool things about reading tarot, as I'm sure Sam can attest to, is the more you do it, the more you put your own meaning onto cards, you know, and then suddenly you've transcended the pictures and the books and the whatever, and now you have an idea of what the Fool is. So you can bring that here too. And then if you really just want me to tell you what to do, which, I mean, hey, that's a choice you can make. I don't recommend doing what I tell you to do, but there's literally just a prompt in here that says, this is what you read at the beginning of the session, and then you tell your players to start talking, which is what I'm going to read. Yeah, so for the game runners and the storytellers and the facilitators out there, probably a good 40% of the book is stuff about running sessions, one-shots, campaigns, whatever it is that you want to do. So, okay, that's the last prep. Are we ready? Should we start? Is everybody ready to embody their character? And
I'm so excited.
Let's do it.
okay. The planks below your feet creak with the waves. The smell of salt and fish surround you. Your packs hold every personal belonging you own. You know the Queen's Guard is fast approaching from the city center, but you take a moment to appreciate the idyllic scenery. You know, deep in your soul, that if you board this barge, you will likely never set foot on this sphere again. What did you do to upset the Queen enough that she would send her personal guard after you?
Well.
I feel like it was something about walking into the dinner that I did at the time that I did. I'm not quite sure what I saw, to be honest, but they were very upset about it, so I left.
So I got a lot of prep from everybody about their characters and what they were doing on this sphere, and it was actually really interesting that a lot of people were just like, I don't know, I just ended up here. So I like that. I like Faye definitely wandered in.
Mm-hmm.
Exy probably wandered in.
Oh, Exy definitely wandered in. Like, as what? Probably something that they didn't really like, to be honest. Like maybe a rat or like a cockroach or something. It's so much more fun to just like trick people, you know? Like, but apparently they don't like that here.
I know exactly what happened. Dog, like you probably shapeshifted into something, and then Dog chased you, and then I chased Dog, and then that was the whole series of events.
Love
I
that.
like it. Rizal, I'm wondering, are you embroiled in this court? Are you like a court magician? Are you here on appointment? Are you upstanding enough to be here legitimately?
Well, I'd like to think I am. Whether the legitimate part, on the other hand, is look, Rizal there. Look, when people master magics, they get little bits of adornment that signify that they're a master of something. And Rizal wants to be a master of everything, but they're not quite there yet. So So to signify that, they've been, they take, oh, perhaps it's a full robe that signifies you're a master of this. Well, they'll take like the sleeve of the robe, and maybe there's like the actual court magician is like a master of something. And I was like, well, they don't need all those robes or all those pendants. So I'm just gonna take part of one of them, like a fraction of a bit. It's fine. They don't need it all. And you know what?
Like,
and then I'll go in, and I'll showcase my magical prowess, and it'll be all smooth over. What are all those spears and people looking at me? It's fine. Look, they're just in awe.
The first job interview.
I feel like that's pretty reasonable. What I would say is that, and I'm doing this mostly because I forget to actually do mechanics in games when I'm playing them, that I feel like we should do some magic then. We should roll some magic.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So I know Rizal's spell list. I don't know if the spell list has been shared widely with everybody. So I'm gonna let Rizal decide what spell that we wanna showcase, like make a first impression here. Make a good first impression.
Good first impression. Well, You want to showcase. I want to go in there, showcase power. I want to showcase that I'm allowed through and nothing else is. So as I stride into their, I guess they're having dinner or something. It's fine.
Sure.
There's a big meal. I'll stride up there, and with a grand wish of my wand and swipe of my hand, I will conjure up a massive dome all around that, just where the only things that I will allow is simply myself to walk through. Yeah, just myself and my things. As I stride there, and perhaps it breaks through some of their dining tables, and I'll just like stand there as perhaps they'll try and knock through or enter, but they can't. It's absolutely impenetrable to everything, and I may or may not have forgotten to let in light as well. So all they see is a dome of darkness that I've just walked in through. I may or may not have also forgotten to put in oxygen, so I will be realizing that, however long it will take me to realize I need to breathe again.
The book does very specifically say you have to say what can pass through it, air
Yes.
included.
It's
Yes.
literally just yourself.
Just
And your
myself
stuff.
and my stuff. Myself and my stuff. What's more important than that?
Right. Breathing.
Breathing. The light,
So did you basically just cast like darkness on the entire room?
like it's a very solid darkness.
It's a very complicated darkness.
Darkness,
it's-
but also no air.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but it's also like because darkness at the edges, it'll like if you took like a darkness source at the edges, maybe a little fuzzy. No, this is like if you looked in a 3D like a game, a 3D program, and you just imported a sphere, the sphere model, and then you just turned that sphere model black, and it's just sitting in the middle of the dining room.
Like you just opened up a black hole like in the middle.
Yeah, it's like completely like it's a very hard edge between light and no light because I did not let light through. And I guess I should roll to see if I can actually what happens to the spell.
So it's 2d6. You have the Rizal has an 8 to perform this particular spell.
8.
8?
No.
What I will say is the book is a little loose on what happens on ties, but I'm going to say that I want this to succeed because I want there to be an impenetrable, unbreathable, hard-edged black hole in the Queen's dining room.
Why not?
That also, so it has been established now that nothing was allowed to pass through this except Rizal. Anything that tries to go through it or tries to touch it takes 1d6 damage.
Oh no.
Which in this game is not insubstantial.
I imagine that I was like barreling towards the center of the room chasing dog. And then like as this big sphere of darkness appears, I just like basically skid and slide like beneath the table and then like sort of like come out the other side like.
So is Exie, dog, or Faye inside the sphere?
Exie was probably going towards it, being chased by a dog. I assume that like Exie was like a little like rat at this point, as like just skittily like, oh no, I'm being chased by a much bigger dog than me. But it's not. The dog is actually pretty. It's like a terrier size, but I'm a little rat, so I'm just like, and maybe I'm looking behind and just ram right in. I don't want to say that I'm gonna take damage, but that's what's gonna happen, I think.
I feel like we're about to have like a several person pile up into this.
Oh no!
Okay, so this destructive hard-edged black hole comes into being.
Oh no.
I would like to find out how motion is in or around this room, or are they?
I was gonna say hanging from the chandelier by my ankles.
On brand.
On brand.
Yes.
Yeah, hangman. Yeah.
Yeah, just chilling, thinking about life. Maybe I was doing a suspension demo. Who knows?
Is this a performance? Were you?
I want it to be a performance, actually.
Yeah. Was motion brought here at like by royal request to do these things?
You know what? I think I'm going to say that one of the royal court misheard a conversation and assumed that motion was some sort of like guru to enlightenment or
Mhm.
whatever, because that's what royals do, right? For
Yes.
fun. They have no time and a lot of money. Sorry, too much time and a lot of money. There we go. So was brought in to like show the path to enlightenment, and then rather thought it was a funny joke,
Mhm.
and has been teaching the court to tie themselves up.
Or are there like some other like
Oh my god.
coffee nobles badly suspended from light fixtures around the room? Oh yeah.
The path to enlightenment dangling.
Dangling.
Suddenly this black hole is not the weirdest thing that's going on in this room.
Might be the most normal thing in this
Yeah.
room.
What I do want is I want motion, much like the card art of like the fingertip hovering over the ground. I want motion's fingertip just hovering over like the barest edge of this black hole that has
Love
appeared
it.
directly underneath of them.
I love it so much, actually. Yes.
So I feel like I want to jump back to eventually I want to jump back to that dock and see what goes on from there. But I want to know what all goes horribly wrong here. Is there a pileup? Is there a rat, dog, fool pileup into this dome that sets everything off, and then all the people hanging from the walls start losing their concentration and fall? And
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I feel like there's a rat dog fool pileup, and then like the dog jumps onto the table and begins like chasing Exy down the table. At which point, like I jump onto the table and begin chasing both of them down the table, and so it's just like cups, dinner plates, everything flying everywhere, jumping over Noble. Like it's just a full-on circus at that point.
Do you use one of these swinging nobles to swing yourself around the room? Please say yes.
Yes, absolutely. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
I like to think that I use one to like launch off of, and then like gah!
Dog runs underneath. Faye just like vaults or like grabs them and just spins around them like.
this is the library scene in The Mummy, except instead of bookcases, it's nobles. Just
Super is.
crashing into each other one by one by one. I like it. Here's what I am most interested in. I'm not super interested in getting out of this like castle or wherever we are, this banquet hall. I'm just more interested in like them mobilizing after you. You know they're mobilizing after you, and now somehow you are all. I think what it is like the queen has put you together by saying this was an attack. This was a coordinated attack. This was Rizal, implanting themselves into the court. This is motion causing a distraction. This is like they're giving you a lot of credit for this very complex and organized attack on the entire court. And so now let's cut back to the docks here. And
But they
the
are
Queen's
giving
here.
us credit.
They're giving you a lot of credit. Way too much credit.
Accomplished.
Too much credit.
What I will say about this is because I love actual water and boats, this is like a real like harbor. This is real boats. But in this world, in the kind of world of Troika, everything is very kind of like science fantasy. So these boats can at any time basically just lift out of the water and unleash their like solar sails and leave the planet. That's what this like. And then they just like touch down in the water. So this is like a very like watery planet, but like we're still going up into space. So that's the dock you're at. So there are ships coming and going horizontally and vertically, all dancing around each other. I'm imagining somewhere is like a magical control tower where people are guiding these boats through, some kind of telepathy or astral projection, but it's a very mundane version of it. So you have been chased thus far to this dock. I think you can hear like bells like just kind of like not alarm bells, they're just like the town bells, like something's happening, get out of the way type of bells. And you can hear that cascade of bells slowly getting closer. And you know that the Queen's Guard is going to be pretty close behind.
Yeah. I imagine Faye's like doubled over, having run like several miles from the palace. It's like, I think I get why they're mad at us. But what happens if they catch us again?
Death.
Oh. Okay. That's bad. I'd prefer to avoid that, I think. Still lots to see, you know. Has anyone else just a bit?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, just me.
And yeah, actually, at this point, it's not a rat anymore. It's the crazy-looking Exy. I mean, we haven't described what our characters look like, I guess, yet. Exy kind of looks like an animal, but not really. It's hard, like, Exy has, like, a very, very long neck and, like, an owl face, but also a little bit, like, but has, like, a cat mouth and, like, long owl, like, feather ears, but they might not be real ears. And then sort of a humanoid body, but they don't walk on, like, they don't walk bipedally. Not really. They're just kind of weird-looking little, and they really don't have any clothes. They're mostly just really furry. The only thing that they have on is like a harness with like the moon on their harness. And that is about it.
Can I float you something?
Sure.
Is Exy's real form just an amalgamation of every other form that they've ever used?
I'm assuming that. Like anytime they transform into something new, like a new part of an animal is like added to their physique. Like the fact that the moon could also be an orb also makes me like very excited. So I feel like that's sort of, I guess, maybe the true form, and then everything else is just like around the orb.
Yeah. If you need any further explanation of like what Troika is about, this background can literally turn into an orb.
Yeah.
That's part of this.
I did
That's
a
part of the
sketch.
Rules.
There it is.
There it is.
I don't know if you can tell. Ta-da! Exy's weird. So, you might not have known that Exy could talk, but they can.
Yeah, like,
I like to think that everybody passing by is like very like perturbed and surprised by this, but they also like don't want to let that show, because then it would be like, oh well, what if everybody else knows what this is and I don't? Then I'm gonna look silly. So everybody's just pretending that this is completely normal behavior.
Completely normal behavior. Yeah, exactly. So
Faye-
should we?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So should we just like go?
Just pick a boat.
Pick a boat and go?
I mean, we pick a boat. That boat looks good. Like that, and Faye will just like, they will indicate one at random, but I choose to believe that because the Fool, as a background, is obscenely lucky.
Mhm.
They just happened to point at one that is about to launch and like appears to have space.
Do you want to engage with the luck mechanic?
I will absolutely test.
Do we
my
want
luck.
to also do that? So luck is a part of Troika that basically just accomplishes anything. If it's not written down, you can test your luck basically to see what happens. It can be used for like combat effects and mechanical benefits there as well. But the Fool has a special ability where at any time they can test their luck to narrowly avoid danger through, surreptitious misstep or happenstance, which I feel like close your eyes and point at a boat sounds about right.
All right. So how do I test my? Is it 2d6?
So it's 2d6. So you are basically trying to roll at or under your current luck. And then regardless of whether you succeed or not, you reduce your luck by 1.
Okay. I'm trying to roll under my luck.
Yes.
Okay. I have rolled over my luck.
So I know, the camera, the viewers know that you have picked the wrong boat. I don't think there's anything terrible about this boat. I think this boat is just like buried under paperwork right now and is just like hours away from getting out of this dock. I think like it's just a bureaucratic nightmare that boat is never leaving. Now, whether or not anybody listens to Faye about getting on that boat is a whole different story.
Yeah. It's like crew seems nice enough. I mean, it's a good
Excellent
looking boat.
choice.
So, when you said the crew seems nice enough, I imagined. Okay, so remember Entangled, where they go into like the ugly duckling? That's the crew for me right now.
Am I just playing Rapunzel from Tangled? Like, is that what's happening here?
Yes.
Or? Yeah.
Rapunzel's a great full archetype, actually.
Rapunzel's
Hold on.
wonderful.
Hold on, I'm just gonna go get myself a cast iron frying pan.
There you go.
Yeah, but I do imagine that's about what it's like. Like, they seem nice, like just a whole bunch of like burly, like thuggish looking sailors.
I think they look nice because they're just standing around because they have no work.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not yelling, which a lot of the people on the other boats are yelling, and like.
This is true. There's a lot of activity on a lot of boats. Does anybody know anything about boats?
Not a bit.
Does anybody know anything about the maritime arts? Is there?
In real life, or no?
Exie knows about astrology, but that's about it.
I know about knots. And
You're going to be really good once we get on the boat.
You know who else knows about knots? Sailors. So I probably
true.
talked to sailors at some point about knots. Maybe
Uh-huh,
they picked up something
Uh-huh.
through the passage of knot learning.
Mm-hmm.
So
Are you suggesting that you would like to test your knots ability?
I'd like to test my knots ability.
I would love it. I would
Amazing.
absolutely love it if we would do this.
Yeah, let's test some knots. Okay, dice that are very new.
Big
So
money,
my knots is exactly a 7. And I also rolled the same numbers, exactly a 7.
You rolled a 7. Yes. I think that's God, what is it? I don't know nothing about no knots. I think what it is. Okay, here's what it is. The moorings. The ship is docked, so the ship is kind of tied up, and you recognize that these are really firm, secure knots. These are not knots that are going anywhere anytime soon. They are not ready for cast off. They're not preparing for cast off. These knots are stay in here type knots.
Stay in here type knot. Love it.
I don't know nothing about knots. You tell me the name of the big stay in here knot. What did they call that knot here on this sphere?
On this sphere, I think they just call it the stay in here knot.
Yes.
And then they have the casting off knot.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no like Lark's head here. No, it's
Nope.
just
Not naming has become very functional and very results driven in this place.
Yeah.
So yep, that's the stay. You recognize the stay in here knot. Big stay in here knots.
all right. That is a stay in here knot. We need to find someone with a casting off knot.
Oh! What does a casting off knot look like? Can you tell me?
Do you see how that one's big and bulky and not moving?
Yes.
You see how this one over here looks like you could undo it very quickly? That's the casting off knot.
Oh, okay. Can I use my evaluate skill to look for other knots, like a boat with lots of knots like that one?
Sure.
Okay, so 2d6 testing, 2d6
I'm not going to say no to weird rolls. Let's go for it.
Okay, I'm trying to roll under my my evaluate skill.
Correct.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 4. My evaluate is 7, so that's a success.
Yes. Yeah. No. I think as the fool is wont to do, start down this path of identifying knots, and then start seeing like what's going on the ships, and saying like, oh, the knot means they're doing. So these knots mean they're getting ready. This knot means they're getting here and unloading. And then suddenly you're talking to people about like their process for how they unload, and now you're looking at paperwork, and you're talking with a harbor master's assistant about like the docking procedures for vessels at or above 50 meters. And Faye's gone. Faye is engaged
Faye, within like 5 minutes, has probably found several ships that are about to cast off, but is also learning a lot, is very excited about it.
Yes. Which, if we were playing a long-form campaign, would be a great trigger for learning new skills at the end of this session. Okay, so I think we now hear a bell go off that is very close. It's in like the harbor's square, basically, like where the rest of the city meets up to the harbor. This bell is now ringing, and you can see like the usual parade of merchants and porters and people carrying boxes. They all know that this bell means that it's time to get out of the way and clear the streets, and they start doing so, opening up a path. What do you do?
My ears are very good and they're very close. We should probably go.
That boat's good. I know it this time because it has the right knots. And also I talked to the harbor master for like 10 minutes and they were talking about how it's just about to leave. So if we get on that one.
Then let's get on that one.
Okay, okay. And then...
Also, just a question, can I see this bell?
Sure.
Okay, so as I see this bell ringing, I'm like, that needs to get a little quieter, right? Yes, right. So it needs to just go and shrink a little bit. I'm going to cast more spells, and I'm going to try and cause it. It needs to cause something to test its luck, or reduce its size by half. You know, it's a big bell, so it makes a large noise, right? That's how it works, right? So if I just,
That's how noise works. Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure.
That's how physics works on this sphere, I guess.
Yes, that's how it works in this sphere. It's fine. As we, nope.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 5.
Is that an
Oh no, that's right. No, that's correct.
Yeah, you want to roll under. That's good.
Right. Sorry.
When you roll a spell, I need you to do 3 things for me. Tell me if you succeed by rolling at or under. Tell me if you fail by rolling over, and I need you to tell me anytime you roll 2 6s. Don't worry about that. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. So no, I rolled a 5, so I should be good.
Yep. The bell shrinks. And I'm not going to make a bell test its luck. We're not getting that weird. I think the bell definitely shrinks, and it's probably up on like a post, and there's probably it's probably ringing by magical means. So there's probably not a rope attached to it or anything. There's no one operating it. So I think when it shrinks and falls off the mount and kind of tinkle clatters to the stone streets, I think it's still ringing. Like, because it was active, like the magic is still there. It's still like, just like kind of flopping around like a fish and making this little like really inconsistent, like poor, clinking sound back and forth. And I think what that does is the people who are clearing the way are now confused about what they should be doing. Because they know that this bell is supposed to be telling them to do a thing, and they don't think that there's something wrong. They're trying to figure out what the bell is trying to tell them to do at this point, and they don't know. So everybody's just kind of like standing around looking at everybody else to see who knows what to do with this bell. With, like, it's the loud bell means get out of the way. The tiny tinkly bell on the floor, we don't know what that means. But we're going to find out. We're really interested to find out. So they're all kind of like half split the way. So I think functionally what we've done here is Rizal has given more time and space here for the 4 of you to get onto this ship with the casting off knots.
With the casting off knots, I think true to form, Faye's just going to march right up the walkway from
gangplank. I know that one.
Right up the gangplank from the pier towards onto the ship. They've got their walking stick sort of slung over their shoulder, bag hanging off the end of it.
All right. Is that the collective approach? Is just walk on this boat?
Honestly, at this rate, they're very close. I am at least. I'm gonna walk on this boat.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Exy will also get on this boat, but it's gonna like look at Rizal do this whole thing, and be like, "Yeah, I like this person. They're strange." Sure.
I'm gonna take a moment as watch the bell shrink and fall and just go like, yeah, I did
We're
that.
both looking at it like, this is the right call. That was good.
And
Not to be a mean storyteller, but does Rizal take trophies? Does Rizal feel the need to take that bell?
no.
Okay.
The bell is just like a byproduct of my mastery. I like to take
Yes.
symbols of mastery that I will then later make whole because that's when I fully master it. But that's just like, I just did a thing.
Like it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We're on a boat now.
We're on a boat.
We're on a boat.
So I think, yeah, the cast and off knots here definitely indicate a flurry of activity. They've gotten their paperwork signed. They are ready to go. Faye talked with several people before choosing this boat. What is this boat? What does Faye know or think they know about this particular boat?
Well, Faye actually, if you asked, would probably tell you a lot about the actual like specifications of the boat because she learned a lot about it when they were talking to the to the harbor master, and they can also tell you what kind of knots are currently keeping it bound loosely to the pier. And I would say they probably talked like with one of the deckhands for a while, and so they know that it's probably like a cargo ship. That's just beginning to head out, but they're not quite sure what the cargo was. The crew seemed sort of cagey about it.
They sure did.
I love it.
I got it. I wrote down some names. We had a conversation about how naming things is the absolute worst part of playing these games, and I agree wholeheartedly. I wrote a name down for this ship, unless somebody else would like to name this ship.
Oh, I don't have a name off the top of my head. Go for it.
Okay, this ship is called the Fearsome Knight.
Right.
You are correct that the Fearsome Knight is a the vessel itself is a transportation vessel. It is meant for taking large amounts of things to and from places in an economic fashion. It's not overly ornate or pretty. It's not. It doesn't appear to be fast, but it appears to be well crewed. And it is the cast and off knots have fulfilled their purpose and is in fact casting off. I think the Fearsome Knight is starting to kind of ferry its way out of the harbor. If anyone happened to be looking over the back railing of the ship back at the harbor, we would see the Queen's Guard kind of shoving people out of the way forcibly, not used to having their bell not working, not accomplishing what they needed to accomplish. So I think they're kind of forcing people out of the way. And spilling into the square there, just surrounded by people though. So they don't really know what to make of anything. They don't have a clear line of sight on you. You really only know them by their the kind of like tabards that they're wearing over armor. I'm imagining like a dark green. I'm imagining some kind of like floral or tree type of symbol here. But otherwise, that's basically all you get. And, who knows? Maybe they'll talk to the right people. Maybe they're going to be occupied by this bell. It's unclear as to whether or not they're going to know what happened to you at this point.
Well, in about 3 minutes, the bell will double in size and come back to normal. So,
as we're
Don't say.
as we're like, are we like flying, like lifting off, flying into the air?
I was going to ask where you thought this boat was going, but up seems good.
I like Up because Treasure Planet is one of my favorite movies. Matthew knows this about me already.
This may or may not be Treasure Planet. I'm not confirming nor denying any of that.
You can't. I love that you've done this to me.
Welcome.
I would think, just as a parting gift, like Faye's just like sitting there, like I imagine that Exie was like watching. Faye's just been like, one hand on the on their cheek, just like kind of watching the ground fall away, and they'll take out their little ever living rose and just pluck off one petal and go, and let that down to the docks.
do the petals live forever off the rose?
I think so.
See, now this is the moment where you know if we played this game for more than a couple sessions, that would be meaningful. It will be meaningful. I don't know. At some point, that's going to be like someone from Faye's past finds this petal and is tracking them through the stars. So that's like episode like 7 or 8 probably. But yeah, the Fearsome Knight. So I'm imagining it very much like a Treasure Planet situation where this ship has like the wind sails and then it has a completely separate set of like sky sails. And those definitely, it's been a long time since I've seen Treasure Planet, but I'm probably going to be basically describing it like shot for shot. But those sails are definitely like ethereal and gold and gleaming, and they seem to move independent of wind. Sometimes they're still when it's windy. Sometimes they're billowing when there's no wind at all, because that's not what they're responding to. They're responding to some other kind of astral force. And yeah, I'm imagining, I think the ship in Treasure Planet had kind of like these like fold out wings. This definitely has got the fold out wings also, and slowly rises up out of the water and starts taking off. Let's just say that whatever force, magical or otherwise, is propelling this ship also seems to keep the gravity going in the appropriate direction. So no matter how it tilts and lists, and basically eventually you're going to be pointing like straight nose up into the sky. It never seems to affect anybody on the deck.
Yeah, like that, again, the moment from Treasure Planet where they all start to drift off and then it snaps on and they just whoop back down onto the deck.
Yeah, it's that, but it's just seamless. It's just like there might be like a one like brief moment where there's like a weird kind of like swirling in your gut, like it's just like that didn't feel right, or you get a little dizzy or something. But then like it passes immediately and you have no idea. But like yeah, that's definitely like I don't know. There's probably some kind of like what's a good name for it? Some kind of like maritime mage on this ship that's like his whole function is basically to make this ship sail. So like powering the sails and making sure everybody stays on it. Probably it feels like you're still on water. That's the thing is you're still rocking. You still have like this gentle swaying rocking of the boat, even in space, which is like extra work, because like we could just make it be solid, but no, we're adding in fake waves to the ship. And so it breaks out the atmosphere. And the way I'm kind of thinking about Troika and how it's all like spheres and sky is we recognize the delineation between a planet's atmosphere and weather and general climate, and not that, but we're not talking the vacuum of space. It's just different up here. It's just it's got different weather. Maybe it feels like you ever go into like a room that's like extremely heavily air conditioned and it's just got that like dry, sterile nothingness kind of feel to it. It's like that's kind of what space is. Like it's you know, it's not unbearable, but it's not super pleasant. I don't think anybody really likes being in space, but it's not like a damaging thing. How many of these people arrived to this planet via skyship? Versus how many people are from this planet? Versus how many people arrived on this planet through maybe like a dimensional door or some other kind of magical means?
Rizal arrived by borrowing a dimensional door.
Emotion arrived to this sphere by falling through a dimensional door.
Exy doesn't know, but that probably means dimensional door.
I think Faye probably took a ship here. And so they're at least a little bit familiar, like with the procedures, but they weren't really paying attention the first ship that they took. but now they know about staying here knots and casting off knots. So
That's important.
So the just to recap here, the fool is the most knowledgeable about what is happening to everybody right now.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
this is the
Yeah.
most chaotic way.
This is what is happening.
I imagine like Faye's just sitting there and is just like pointing out things as they're happening. They're like, yeah, I was told that the stars were like all different when you got to somewhere else, but it turns out they're actually the same ones. Like you can see them changing actually as we drift through, and they even look different when you're out here. Which is something I found out. They're actually all the same stars. They're just in different places, which is cool, but disappointing, I guess. Anyway, I feel like I haven't actually introduced myself to any of you yet. I'm Faye. Do we shake? Is that a thing that we do on this?
What's the customary greeting on this sphere?
I don't know. Well,
What's the customary greeting in space, actually?
Even better.
even
And you would be
better.
the foremost expert amongst us all here.
Oh. And then they will proceed to do what they've seen the sailors do, which is like over the side of the ship.
Is that actually a greeting, or is that just something Faye has put together?
I think that's like Faye just sees them do it a lot together when they are speaking. So like it must be.
That might just be because of the dry air in space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm a little surprised that the space is so dry, considering.
Yes.
Well,
I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna
there's-
take a moment and I'm just gonna look over the edge and just like,
All right, I think it is time now to sort of rationalize the four of you being on this ship.
Yeah.
It sounds like we've done a lot of hanging out on the deck. It sounds like we've done a lot of looking over the rails. It sounds like we've done a fair amount of spinning. Is there what is the, do these people think about hiding? Is that even a thought that occurs? Is like being a stowaway even a thought process here? Or is it just like, I'm on a ship, good enough?
I don't think Exy thinks so, because if a problem arises, they can just change into something else, like a normal thing that would be on the ship, once they find out what a normal thing that would be on the ship. So, I mean, no.
I don't think it occurs to Faye either. They got out here on a ship, and that went like fine for them. I'm not quite sure how they got on that ship or how that went. It's quite possible that they stowed away without realizing it. They just kind of marched into the cargo bay, strung themselves up in a hammock, and then next thing they knew, they were there.
They 100% accidentally stowed away last time.
Yeah.
We're just idiots. We're all just idiots.
So like I think that's Faye's suggestion is just like, I mean, what I did last time is I just went and hung out like below decks for a while because I didn't want to be in the way.
what's an interesting policy that these ships have.
Policy?
Yes, I'm sure. I mean, that's quite the interesting policy that they have.
What's a policy?
Well, you see, a policy is a set of rules.
It's
and-
just like leading the way
Yeah.
down, but like below decks at this point.
as Rizal is just like explaining policies and different and policies of various different places that they've been to, and just like all of that. Just like, yeah, no. As like usually in this sphere, when you greet somebody, you you need to procure a green object is part of the greeting, etc., etc. Just continuing on, it's like, yeah, and it's just, I just find it fascinating that on these ships from within the sphere, you can just walk on and string up a hammock and everything's fine.
Is that not usually how it works?
Well, in some places you have to provide some sort of identification or some sort of coin or some sort of coinage in some other places, but it's really it's really refreshing to just find a place that you can just walk on in and just, it's great.
I think at that moment, someone shouts at you that you're not supposed to be there.
Hey.
That's the right time for that.
Yeah.
What's more interesting? It's the deckhand that Faye was talking to earlier.
Oh, okay.
So there's like a mix of like it starts with kind of like a puffed up like authority, like you're not supposed to be here, and then it's like surprise recognition, and then it's like then they start using their regular voice that you talked to them with before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just basically kind of a jumble of keep like a repetitive cycle of you're not supposed to be here. Why are you here? You're not supposed to be here. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What is your deckhand friend's name?
God, the first name that came to mind was Ray. I'm going to flip that around so that we don't confuse it with the person who's currently sitting in call with us, and we'll call him Yar.
Do you know what you did? Did you do this on purpose to me?
Is that a name for another thing? What's happening?
Oh no!
You're on a pirate ship and named the character Yar.
Oh!
John? You said Ray backwards and I immediately lost it. I'm just like, no, come on.
I am so deep in character that I did not realize what I had done.
John, I mean this with all the love in the world, but you are the best fool.
Head empty. Head empty.
Oh my god.
No thoughts.
No thoughts.
Okay.
No thoughts. Like that's actually what I did to get in character is I just flushed every brain cell out of my head.
Why?
Fair. So Yar is I think they're trying to like scoot you out of kind of like you've gone down some stairs. You're in kind of like you're still very like central to the ship. You're kind of at a crossroads of like above and below deck. So there's still a lot of like foot traffic here. Up till this point, like you've gotten a couple looks maybe, but people are more concerned with doing their job than they are with you not supposed to be there. So I think what Yara is doing is gonna scoot you out of that area, down some like winding hallways, down to maybe another set of stairs, through some doors, past the bunks, and into this kind of like storage type of room. It's going to be really interesting to see who remembers the way back out in a minute. But at this point, all of that was done to basically conceal your kind of presence here. And Yar like has been kind of quiet this whole time. And once the door closes, immediately rounds on you, Faye, and is just like demanding, like as angry as they can be, but it's more like maybe scared. It's like frantic. It's a very frantic energy about like, why are you on this ship?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, the Queen's Guard were chasing us. So like we needed somewhere to go. You were going someplace and I thought you could just walk onto ships. That's how I got here. But like now I seem to understand that there's something called policy where that's usually not a thing.
I think Yar is like kind of listening, but mostly just muttering, you can't be on this ship.
Why?
And I think there's a lot of emphasis on this ship. I think it's like, oh, no. I think Faye's probably heard like, you're not supposed to be here. Like as it's just like a general, like, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be somewhere else. This is a very pointed, you're not people, you cannot be on this ship right now. And I think it's there's some very like frantic, nervous energy coming out of Yara at this point.
Wait. What's bad about this ship? Did I pick a bad ship?
I don't know why the Queen's Guard was after you, but if she sent the actual guard after you, they're not just going to they're not going to stop at the dock. They're not going to shrug their shoulders and head home. They're going to come after you. And they're going to come after us, and they cannot come after us.
Sorry.
I think they're again like half listening, and they're kind of having a conversation with themselves about like what to do. And I think the kind of like highlights of this conversation is they don't want you to get in trouble. I think Faye makes a very good first impression. I think Faye is extremely likable, and I think that this particular person happens to just be a nice guy and likes Faye. But eventually they kind of look back at you and they're like, we have to tell the captain that the Queen's Guard is coming.
I mean, if you want me to do that, I can, because it's sort of our collective fault.
It's 100% your fault. Absolutely.
It's all of our faults, really.
I was merely hanging around.
I was being chased by a dog.
Someone get a pun counter going. I have a feeling that's not going to be the last.
Yep, we got one check.
Being chased by a dog.
I'm really sorry about that. Dog just... I actually am not sure where he came from. I don't know what his name is. Actually, he just kind of follows me around. It's very sweet. I don't know if he's mine, really. Where is Dog, by the way?
Dog's your responsibility. That's not my problem. You tell me. You tell me where Dog is.
Dog's somewhere else on the ship.
Here's what I'll tell you. Yar did not notice a dog. Yar did not make any effort to corral a dog. So you tell me where Dog is right now. Or we can find out later.
Dog is living his best life, meeting the crew,
Aww.
up on deck.
Emotional support dog for this.
Yep.
Eating some
Pirate
turkey.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think probably by the next time you see Dog's gonna have been adopted by 16 different sailors, have a bunch of different names, have been fed way too much.
Oh, have the cheese farts.
Dog's living the life right now.
Oh yeah, Dog's great.
Dog's good.
Hey, we went into this with a very specific consent aspect around harm to animals, and not only are we not harming animals, we're going to absolutely go out of our way to make this dog
And bring them.
all of tabletop role playing. So Dog's good. Yeah, we'll check in with Dog at some point. So I think eventually Yar's internal conversation reaches kind of an end. It's just we have to go see the captain. She's fair. She's, she's not gonna throw you overboard, I don't think, but it's gonna be a lot worse if you stay hidden and the Queen's Guard take us. So we gotta go.
Okay. I mean, does anyone have any objections to that? I mean, I nobody's thrown me off a boat yet. I've only been on 2 boats, but nobody's thrown me off a boat yet.
I don't want to see any of you get thrown off a boat, but I am interested to find out what happens when you get thrown off a boat in space. So, anyway, so I think
animals.
I mean,
I guess I could turn into an orb. What did
You could become a sphere.
I mean, if you want me to tell you what's on my list of prep, the answer is yes, there are animals.
Space whale. Sorry, I'm done.
Uh-oh.
Well, there definitely are space whales. But there are, yeah. Anyway, we'll get there.
Look at there. Plan B.
So I think Yar opens the cabin door, the little storage closet door that you're in, and kind of gestures. So gives a little nod, all right, everybody out, let's go.
All right. Faye will be let out to the captain's place.
Yeah, I think if everybody is compliant with this, I think it is kind of a direct march, very fast. Yar making a real good clip, and the one thing I know about tall ships from Peter Pan is that there's a very richly appointed captain's chamber in that kind of that rear cabin tower thing that comes off the back of the ship, and that's exactly where we're going. Whether or not that's true, that's where we're going right now. And I think there's probably Ooh, I want it to be like an office. I think there's like a reception area, right? There's like a little antechamber. There's like a little office you go through, like a waiting room, and some kind of like receptionist, kind of like personal assistant to the captain. It's not like first mate, right? Not maybe it is first mate. I don't know. Maybe first mates are just clerical workers. They're just administrators, and I think it's Yar's trying to do the puffed up thing and just like march in, but then they like the hand stops like right before the doorknob, and they immediately then go over to the desk and check in and like ask to see, like, we're here to see the captain. And I think the first mate here kind of like looks everybody over and then gives like I don't know how many. We have such a little chaos squad going here. I don't know if anybody's like up to date on personal social interactions and nonverbal communication, but this first mate is just like staring just daggers at Yar. Like they both know how absolutely bad this is.
I have skills in secret signs, and I don't think that applies here.
Secret sign travelers.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, these are travelers. I'm sure you've met some, travelers who kept secrets at some point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We can roll more dice. Roll some dice. Let's find out what happens.
Trying to roll under. Just reminding myself that is cocked. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. 5. So that is under.
Yeah. So I think for the first time in our adventure here, Faye clicks into like the real, like what's going on around them, and immediately catches this glance and potentially feels like a fear, like a pang, like an emotion, like a real deep kind of primal thing where you're like, this is not, these two people are not happy.
Yeah, I imagine like that sort of washes over their face where they're like, oh,
Uh-oh.
I'm in trouble for reasons that are more than just like I'm in the wrong place.
Oh, Faye's been in trouble all the time, but this is not like a law trouble. This is like a life and death kind of trouble.
Like you see Faye just sort of like stricken for a moment, and then like as the two are talking, they'll just kind of like look back to the others and be like, I think there might be something bad going on here.
Yes.
Jiggly, I guess.
Okay, I just thought everybody should know.
Okay. Like, because we're gonna get thrown off into space?
No, I don't think they're gonna throw us off into space. I think there's something on the boat.
I have to wonder what it's like being thrown off into space, though.
I heard there's whales.
Oh!
Whales?
If there's whales, wait, I've got an idea.
Okay. Keep that.
Plan B.
I was gonna say we keep it in our back pocket, but you don't have pockets. That's really cool, by the way, how you don't have pockets.
I have nothing.
Your belt is very cool.
Oh, thank you.
Faye's like bedecked, like it's just this cacophony of like there's a leather bracelet and one that's like wound out of grass that's got a couple of like stones that have holes in them like slipped onto it. Like the same with their hair, it's dyed a whole like their hair's like sort of like a reddish brown, but it's been dyed a whole bunch of colors just sort of at impulse. Probably about shoulder length.
Do we really think that the Queen's Guard is coming after us because they were distracted by Rizal's really cool bell?
I mean, apparently they're like really, really hard to shake off. I don't know.
Think we were trying to kill her?
Maybe. I feel like that's giving us way too much credit.
Oh,
I don't even know who the Queen is.
What?
You ran across her dinner plate.
Oh.
She had the biggest, like, fanciest looking clothes, and the metal thing on her head.
Oh.
The like strange orb floating above it. Yeah.
That sounds really uncomfortable.
It frankly, I don't know why any would wear, but she does.
Okay.
The conversation is interrupted as the entire room seems to shake, and there is this like, it's like a cross between like a foghorn and just like God, what is it? There's a name, klaxon, like just like that kind of like screeching, piercing alarm type noise. And it's not that it is a noise that you are proximate to. It is a noise that is being projected into every room of this ship. And it sounds this loud and that piercing to literally every member of this crew in every nook and cranny of this ship. And the Yar and the first mate, basically they kind of freeze and they go just ghost pale, like just frozen in terror. And the interior cabin door that Yar had approached earlier swings open. Oh, is slow or fast? Slower is funnier, I think. It goes real slow, and a just like resplendent, well-adorned, decked out captain kind of walks slowly and confidently across the decking, heeled boots clicking on the wood planks, and comes over to where Yara is standing and just says, ready the crew, the Queen's Guard is here.
Find us so fast.
We didn't really discuss this ahead of time. I think we're about halfway done. Do we want to take a little break? Or do you guys want to keep going? Because I want to let that sit. I like doing that. I want to let that sit for a quick moment.
Cliffhanger? Yeah.
Do you want to tell people about your Kickstarter?
Yeah.
For a brief moment? We could just have a little commercial break.
Yeah. So I'm refreshing really quick. We have gotten two new pledges since we started this stream. Woo. So thank you very much to both of you. We are now at 95% funded. We need $200 to hit our funding goal, which, depending at which pledge level you would like to be a part of, that could be as few as or as many as 10 people, as few as 5. So what we are playing today is a game called Troika, and myself and John and Bree are part of a large team of people who are putting together a supplement for Troika called Articles of the Arcana, which is a supplement of player and storyteller focused content to create tarot-inspired characters and stories within the frameworks of Troika. And that's what we're doing today. Is we are officially playing the Fool session, where we leap without looking, where we make bold choices that affect our future, where we kind of take steps without really thinking about the consequences, all of which I think have been embodied heartily by every member of this Chaos Squad up till now. So we're on Kickstarter right now. We have about a week to go. I have a good deal of confidence that we will fund. If we fund during this stream, if we fund in the next hour and a half, I have some notes that will take this Chaos game up to 11 and do some really wild stuff with what's going on right now. I have 3 things that I wrote down. I wrote 3 chaos theories down, and I would love to use that as an incentive to make this game even weirder. Our players today are portraying backgrounds based on tarot cards. We have John portraying Faye the Fool. Sam is portraying Motion the Hanged Man. Bram is playing Rizal the Magician, and we have Bree, who just briefly stepped away, who's playing Exie the Moon. And each of these backgrounds is inspired by tarot. Obviously, tarot is a very personal and interpretive thing, so one might say that these are just my impressions of tarot, the artist's impression of tarot, and we've put it into a book, and we would love to share that with you. So if role-playing games is a thing you're interested in, if Troika specifically is a thing you're interested in, or even if just tarot is a thing you're interested in, we would love for you to check out the Kickstarter page, which is bit.ly/articlesarcana. We have, you can just get a tarot deck if that's what you're into. You can get digital and physical copies of Articles of the Arcana. If you are new to Troika and would like to get in on that also, we are including a couple of pledge levels have the digital copy of Troika at over 50% off, over 60% off if you buy it in that bundle also. So there's a level where you can get the Articles of the Arcana digital, Articles of the Arcana physical book, the tarot deck, and a digital copy of Troika, all ready to go, wrapped up, delivered to your door, in spring next year after printing and everything, and you're ready to go. And you can play tarot in Troika and do some weird stuff like we're doing here today.
This has been a super fun system to play. Like it's always weird like reading a TTRPG system on the page and then like actually sitting down to play it, but it does just let you do some really weird stuff.
Mm-hmm. Troika is very much a yes and system. When I was reading through the book, it basically just said like, here's some advanced skills. If it's not written here, that's okay, make it up. And I said, oh, okay. So making supplements for Troika is going to be pretty easy, huh? As I mentioned earlier, this started as a very simple couple of backgrounds to 36 backgrounds to spells and abilities to campaign prompts. And then it just like really went wild when I brought on not one, not four, but 7 artists and an editor to fill this book with as much content, both written and visual. By far and away, the biggest project I've ever worked on that I've kind of like run by myself. So I'm really excited that we're so close to funding. I'm really looking forward to having this book on my shelf. At the base funding level, we have kind of like the supplemental tarot deck, which is just the 36 cards that are represented in the book as backgrounds for you to use with your game or in your tarot usage. Separately, if we can get, that's at $4,500. Again, we're just $200 off that. If we can get to $6,000 in the next week, I will be paying Bree and the other 3 background artists double. I will be paying them twice what I promised them and asking them in return to do the remaining 36 cards. And we will be publishing a complete full tarot deck. So again, independent of Troika and tabletop role-playing games, if you are into tarot, you can have a beautifully illustrated tarot deck by 4 wildly talented artists and, just say nuts to your book, Matthew. I'm here for the art and I will respect that very valid choice that you have made. So
I can't tell you how much I want that full tarot deck to be a thing.
I do very much. This, John, this will be, if we get a full tarot deck, this will be John's first tarot deck. And I desperately need that to be a true thing. I desperately need this Kickstarter, which has spun wildly out of control before, during, and after its launch, to be John's first tarot deck. I need that to happen. So
I love that so much, in part because I love all of our artists so much.
Oh, they're good. Do we have a way to put some art on stream?
That's right.
Do we have a way to do that? Because I made Ray a promise. Sorry, I just realized that my camera's like super out of focus. I'm gonna try and bring it back. That didn't work at all. Let's see. How do I get it to you? Ray, you have to tell me how. I'm inept.
Discord or something.
Throw it in Discord. There we go.
But yeah, basically what Matthew is referring to is we're debuting a thing right now, right here, for you. Live for you.
One of the amazing pieces of art for the backgrounds that we have not actually revealed yet. So this is a treat just for you, everybody that's tuned in right now. So
it's so cool. It's so
I can
cool.
see Ray freaking out in Zoom chat right now, actually, about this. So in just a moment, you'll be able to...
Okay, so it's in Discord. It's now in Ray's hands to facilitate. But a little preamble here. So I contacted Ray and said, hey, I would like to get the word out about this weird project that I'm doing. Can we do a game? Can we be on a stream? Can we do a game? And Ray was extremely accommodating and very jazzed about this project. But back then we thought Ray might be playing in this game, and Ray had a very singular background picked out that they wanted to utilize. I told Ray that because of the enthusiasm and because this is, no offense, sorry, Bree and every other artist, my favorite card in the deck so far. I told Ray that,
I have no offense. It's great.
I told Ray that this can be the first time anyone anywhere outside of the creators group can see this card, and give you another little taste of like the weirdness that is going on here. So yeah, I've rambled. I don't know. I'm not actually watching the, sorry, I just opened the chat and saw all Ray's messages. I'm not watching the stream to like preserve my internet connection here. So I'm not sure if it's being shown or what that will look like, but
Not quite yet. I am watching it on my second stream.
Okay.
It's not there yet. I'll let you know when it is.
yes. What else can we say? This is the card that we're about to see is by Matthew Cartwright.
At Mathulu, I think.
Mattulu, M-A-T-T-T.
I'm gonna check on Twitter right now.
So it has been fun having two Matthews in the chat. Takes me all the way back to high school where there was like 6 Matts in my grade.
I feel your pain, Matthew. There it is.
Is it up?
Art!
I see the chat.
Art.
See the chat. This is
Look
this
at
is
this
Mission
so this,
gosh!
so this is
Hold on.
the card.
Look this way.
Tarot card is the Page of Cups, and what that looks like, if you search up the Rider-Waite tarot and look at the page in the cup, it's a very reserved version of what we're doing right here, which is just a fancy man holding a cup with a small fish in it. And I said, hey, what if you were that small fish and you interacted with the world by telepathically communicating with your cupbearer? And Matthew Cartwright sent me a message after this card was assigned to them and said, what if ... he big? and now it is. He big. So I rewrote the background to allow this fish to be whatever size the fish wants to be. The cup will always accommodate the fish, and the bearer will always be able to carry the cup. And so yeah, this is just like really kind of quintessential of like what we're doing here is just like we're playing with tarot, we're interpreting tarot, the artists are interpreting it, I'm interpreting it, the players will interpret it, the game runners will interpret it, and that's the point. We are trying to definitely balance in the book. There's guides, right? We're trying to give you content. We're trying to make sure that this is not something where we're putting all the kind of emotional and mental labor on players and GMs. Like, we want there to be content in here, but at the same time, I want you to look at that fish in the cup. I want you to make your own personal qualitative assessment of this fish and embody this fish however feels right to you. So this fish is in the book as a playable background. This fish, Fish in a Cup, is in our 36 card supplemental deck that will come out at funding. Matthew, along with Bree and Trey and Alex, would love to do 36 more cards. And I think Matthew is currently assigned Death and the Tower. So I don't even know what to do with that. I don't even know how to prepare my brain and my emotional well-being for what's about to happen with those things. Bree, do you remember any of the other cards that I have currently assigned to you that you're going to be working on?
I'm either doing one of either the Empress or the High Priestess, or maybe both. I can't remember which.
You are definitely doing Empress. I remember looking at that. The Empress is my wife's favorite card. No pressure.
I'm so excited.
But yeah, so there's a lot of cards still left to do. Everybody's done 2, so everybody has 7 more to do just out the gate. I would love to turn that into 7 plus 36 and keep these artists paid and busy for quite some time. That would be good.
Yeah.
I feel bad that I don't know, but I haven't looked at it.
That's fine. We had a whole like bidding. Like, everybody sent me a list of their top 10 cards that they want, and I spent a weekend rationalizing that list to give everybody like cards that they wanted. And we have all 4 knights of the suits are in there, and everybody got 1 knight. And I did a very similar thing when I asked you to pick your color. I just said, hey, pick a suit of tarot, and nobody knew why I was asking them to do that. And I think organically everybody picked, all 4 of the background artists picked a distinct individual suit with no problem.
Yes. I think mine was wands. I don't remember.
So,
I think we all really wanted to be swords, but someone got to swords first. That's what I remember.
Oh no! The one of the other minor arcana cards that we're doing is the 2 of Swords, which in Rider-Waite is this kind of Rider-Waite tarot is just like squiggly lines and weird colors. So to call her a woman is already a weird stretch and implies more about me and my bias looking at this person than anything. But I see this as kind of like, it's a woman in very simple robes. She has covered her eyes with a bandana and is holding 2 of the largest swords you have ever seen. And I don't remember who, that was the card literally everybody wanted.
Yes, every single one there.
There was
that one.
Very little overlap between the cards. Literally everybody wanted to do that card. And that was like the absolute hardest thing I had to do was figure out who got that card. And basically all the other card assignments revolved around that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, and that, I believe I've called that card the Sword Maiden. And she has decided that she does not need to see the world. She experiences the world through swords. That is how this person chooses to live their life. So, Matthew, you should have accounted for cool woman with big swords. I did. I picked it. I did the entire major, and then I said, I need about, what is that? I need 14 more cards to round out 36 to make a rollable table. And I looked through the minor arcana, and I'm like, yep. Cool woman with 2 big swords. Absolutely. There is also the Sword Queen. So just in case there wasn't enough swords, there is another badass figure with a very large sword in the game.
No, maybe I'm swords. I don't remember. I don't remember. I'll have to look.
Swords. A lot of swords. There's so many swords. I see in chat that we have another backer. We do. Thank you so much. If that person is in chat, thank you very, very much. We are now 96% funded. So
all right,
we're going to get there. I hope we get there. We got an hour and 10 minutes.
Hour and 10 minutes until something in that hour and 10 minutes, something crazy can happen if we get fully backed.
Fully fund Matthew will throw us all even more for a loop, which frankly, given how this game has gone so far, I'm excited to see what that means.
I can still honestly tell you that the things I have written down that will happen at funding are definitely more chaotic than what has happened so far. That is still a true statement. You have an hour and 10 minutes to prove me wrong as players.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
So coming back from the break, we are now joined by Captain Bishop, who is like, we talked about the magicians having like their regalia and their insignia, and I think this is like a very similar thing. There's just like, epaulets and shoulder pads and chevrons and patches and pins and medals and all manner of symbols and colors and ornate, hangings. I think they just jingle a little bit when they walk, but like in a very cool way, like a very deep jingle of like heavy metals and coins hitting each other. I'm imagining kind of like a big scabbard, like long curved sword, thinking like cutlass style, kind of a more traditional, pirate look to it. I think everybody has kind of a casual look about them, but this person has a very like naval look, almost like a very much like commander of this ship. Like there is like an order to it. It's not just a bunch of people sailing it. And they have instructed Yara and the first mate to ready the ship. They have done so immediately. They have immediately ran out of this room without giving a second glance to you and left you alone with this figure who, again, in a very controlled and imposing way, turns to directly face each one of you in turn, like a full body, full face on look, like like eye and body contact, like full attention. And then kind of assesses the situation and immediately singles out Faye and says,
who's just like slowly waving with
Yeah.
one hand and trying to smile.
right. I mean, it would be more impressive if Faye wasn't waving, but like, yes. So basically just kind of looks and says like, what's done is done. I see in your eyes that you did not know, but you have never in your entire life been in more danger than you are in right now.
Oh, that's why Yar is upset as he was.
Yar is rightfully upset that we may never see a port again.
Can we do anything to help? I feel like I should do something to make this right.
I think they give a little chuckle, not in like a demeaning way, just in like, you know, again, I think Faye is a very likable person and, you know, just kind of permeates that. But I think she says like, not unless you have any experience with plasmic cannons.
I can't say that I do. I've hit people with a stick before.
Resolve, certainly. So plasmic energy is what kind of powers all of the what amounts to firearms in the system of Troika. They are energy weapons, but they have kind of a mechanical component to them. So, you know, imagine like a like Firefly, I think is like a good touch point for that, where like these are guns that shoot like very weird energy bullets that can destroy a lot of stuff, but still like require cleaning often and require like physical ammunition to be loaded. So a plasmic core generally is like the ammunition that is put into these weapons. Magicians and mages, though, know that this energy can also be harnessed for spellcraft. It is extremely dangerous to do so, but you can effectively like shatter a plasmic core and allow that energy to like escape and then attempt to harness it for spellcraft at that stage. You would know that is an exceptionally dangerous thing to do. But as long as the plasmic cores are contained, it's not like loose nitroglycerin or anything. Like these are stable. And so while you may not know much about ships or, you know, interstellar ship-to-ship combat, you can at least kind of pick out some keywords here that tell you she's talking about readying the armaments of this vessel.
Ah, yes. So with absolute confidence, Rizal's like, well, I may not be familiar with the very armaments of this vessel, but I am familiar with plasmic cores, and perhaps I may be of some assistance with them or utilizing them, either as they are lobbed at us or as we lob them potentially at the Queen's Guard.
She kind of assesses you and she says, yeah, yep, point and shoot would be another way to describe that. But yeah, you have the right of it. And I think she starts walking. I think she expects you to follow her.
It's like, should we? Very well.
On our
Who's behind?
on our way out, Faye's gonna be like, to Exy, did you say you could turn into a space whale?
Probably.
Like there's an audible like swallowing.
I've never tried, but I haven't been able not to transform into other things before. Except
You
like living things. Usually. Yeah.
Are they bigger than boats, Matthew?
I don't know. Actually, Bree gets to tell me all about space whales now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably, just based on like sea life in general, was probably different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
There's gotta be like a blue whale of the space,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, what is going to be like, what's Exy's, concept of a whale, in like a space whale?
Probably Xy's probably thinking like, if like like just a really like what I've seen of whales before, which might be space whales. I don't like what Bree's thinking, which is what Xy's gonna be thinking, because that's all I have to go on, is like basically sort of like that big thing in Doctor Who that had like future London on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, but maybe a little smaller, but like looks like a whale, but definitely like has a whole bunch of eyes and like yeah, that type of thing.
Okay, so they've got a bunch of cannons on this ship that they're going to shoot at the other ship. But what if we made it so that their cannons just didn't work?
How would me being a whale help?
Well, we have to get over there somehow.
Oh.
And
It could probably be something a little smaller then.
Okay. I mean, I just thought, like whales are very big.
I was thinking that you were asking me to eat the ship.
I mean, could you do that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, but if they were to fire from inside you, that would not. I would imagine it would be very painful.
Yeah, probably. But maybe they'd be dead already? I don't know. What? Oh, what would happen? Ooh.
The
I go
best
really
time for
big and I eat
experimentation
something and then I
is-
shrink back? How would that work? Ooh.
The best time
Exciting.
and
If you-
place for experimentation is in the field.
If you eat the ship, can you turn into the ship? Maybe that's a stupid question, but like
Gain the ship's powers.
Plasma cannons now.
Exy is just Kirby. Like,
I am Kirby.
Cannon now.
Kirby has infinite power.
I'm an orb with things around it.
We've cracked the code.
Kirby.
We've cracked the code.
As you have followed the captain out having this clandestine conversation, that kind of klaxon noises sounds again. And if it's at all possible, it sounds even louder than before, and is just reverberating everywhere. Like it's not sound, it's just there. And out now on the deck, towards she's taking you to the helm of the ship. There is you can see, like, I'm imagining like you come out of the cabin, you kind of go around the corner, right, and then go up the stairs to like where the big ship's wheel is. And as you're clearing that, and you kind of get your perspective shifts above the back rail, and in the cinematic, like the movie adaptation of this book, the camera then that kind of floats away and goes even further above, and there's 3 very large ships that have the same kind of like golden sails flying, but have somehow been like, they've been tinted a green, and there's that same kind of like floral tree emblem on them. And then there's basically kind of like 2 smaller ships kind of flanking one large ship, and the large ship is wildly ornate. There's this gold gilding and everywhere it doesn't need to be. Like the ropes are probably like dyed a certain, like a green color, like just miles of rope for the rigging of this ship have been dyed green for no reason other than to be green, and to represent the queen. So like it's an ostentatious ship, and they are now just like barreling down. You can tell, you can surmise that these are extremely fast ships, or maybe they were just close by. Like it's hard to say. You had it. I think it was actually you mentioned it. You had a sizable lead. You had every advantage, and yet here these ships are. These Queen's Guard ships are just barreling down on the Fearsome Knight.
I mean, how long have we been on this ship? Not very long, right?
No, I mean, I think like we can play around with some of the timing in there, and we don't have to have been with the characters the whole time, but definitely not long. Like you left them scrambling at the dock.
Yeah.
And while you may not know much about like taking off, I think like between what Faye and Motion got out of the dock was that you don't just leave the dock, right? Even if like you're the Queen's Guard, you still have to get on the ship. You still have to unmoor the ship. You still have to launch the ship. You still have to like get the guard on the ship. So I don't know if it strikes anybody as odd that these 3 ships are here behind you. We can assess that. We can interrogate that thought process. Otherwise, the immediate response is there are 3 very large ships that are obviously coming for this one.
Maybe if I could just talk to them. I'm very good at talking to people.
A cannon sounds and a ball of energy flies over the ship, barely missing it.
Hi.
Okay, maybe no talking.
The 4 of you duck immediately and the captain doesn't. It just whizzes right by.
Yeah.
The captain's very cool, by the way, in case that wasn't explicit.
Yeah.
She's very cool.
Yeah.
She's
Cool.
very cool.
I would watch the movie about this captain. Like,
Yeah.
She's the cool Treasure Planet captain.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Captain Amelia.
Yes.
I must be super channeling Treasure Planet from like a decade ago when I last watched it, but I named this captain Captain Aurelia,
You're so close.
which is so close.
You were just
so many
possessed by treasure.
So
planet.
many of the same letters in the same order. Captain Aurelia Bishop is the name.
Oh my god, that's such a cool name.
Amazing. I love it.
It's a good name.
So
Sounds
yeah.
wealthy.
No, oh yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, so I think like the kind of flagship is starting to like launch volleys. I think they're terrifying to you. I think the rest of the crew doesn't seem to mind too much because what they know is that at this range, at this speed, those 4 guns are not super accurate. Like if they're off by even a single degree, they're just gonna like wildly miss the ship. So I think that they all know that this is just like that ship's just terrorizing this ship at this point. They're just showing off. They're just firing cannons to fire cannons. But they are gaining, the crew has speed and motivation. And I think at this point, the captain rounds back on you and says, if you ever want to set foot on Sphere again, you need to participate. I need everybody here manning guns, repelling invaders. And I think she's just like goes down this list of very technical terms of like military, nomenclature about like different types of attacks and all the different ways that the ship might be boarded, which in 3-dimensional space is like, there's this maneuver where they like the other ship goes completely upside down underneath of this ship. And they like the keels of the 2 ships basically lock together and start spinning, and like it's a very like dicey maneuver that she once saw happen. There's a great story about it, but she's just like spouting off and expects you to do something about it.
I'm very good at breaking things. If you put me on one of the big ships, I think I could break it. If my life has taught me anything, I'm very good at breaking stuff and being where I'm not supposed to be.
I think she considers it. I think she likes the gumption in the idea. She likes the notion of just like somehow, like she thinks for a minute. She's like, what method do I have to propel this fool over to that ship through space? But probably eventually kind of dismisses it and basically is saying like, hey, us getting close enough to that ship is not worth. Like she does not want to go anywhere near that ship.
Okay.
So I think it's just like, she maybe like, she'll give you like a shoulder tap and is like, if it comes to that, it's a fine plan B. But our immediate plan is evasion. We need to get away from that ship. And I think to that end, maybe some of the crew have like, they've opened up like a cargo hatch and are like using one of like the little cranes to like pull up boxes, and they're just like being hauled over. They're being ditched. Like they already want to go faster and they're trying to ditch whatever they can to do so.
Can we, can I, I have a navigate skill. Could I try and use that to try and like, help the helmsman such that like the crew, the cargo that we are offloading falls into the path of our pursuers?
I would love to see you go grab that wheel and find out what happens. Absolutely, I would.
Okay. No, actually, this is how this idea is going to play out. I feel like there was a fair bit of time where Faye just like spent watching them turn the wheel and stuff, and like there's still some amount of force. And so what they're going for is to have them pile up a whole bunch of boxes, like a whole bunch of the cargo on one side of the ship, and then basically just tip it off all at once to just like scatter it back and like dump it at them all at once. And that's my plan.
It's a great plan. Let's see what happens.
All right, let's do it.
Could telekinesis help with that plan?
I think telekinesis can help with everything.
Yeah, I mean, probably throwing a fool from one ship to another as well. But
Yeah.
we'll start with
like-
boxes.
Is motion going to be like the one who like scatters? Like we can't coordinate throwing 47 boxes off the side of the ship in the right pattern, but motion can send them all flying in a scatter shot that is appropriate for this maneuver.
We're gonna
Absolutely.
Also,
All right.
just, an idea of, well, perhaps if we have these plasmic charges hidden amongst these crates, I could simply perhaps make them small enough that they are not seen, and then.
Ooh.
But also that means I need to succeed on. But first, let us see how well I can shrink these plasmic
All right.
charges.
Yep, that sounds like the appropriate thing to start with, is shrinking some plasmic cores.
Plasmic core.
Okay.
Faye
go
at this
wrong.
point has just like run up onto deck and is like, sorry, and then just pushes the navigator out of the way.
5.
Okay, we have shrunk some plasmic cores. And then those are being deposited in and amongst the 47 crates that have been collected to throw overboard. So now it's on Faye to shove this poor guy is just doing his job today. He's having a real day of it. Gets shoved away from the wheel. Faye grabs the wheel and with their navigational skill attempts to do something important.
Like I imagine they sort of push him out of the way. His hat falls off, and they just grab it, and then whoop, and like they like just like they've got like now a jauntily sort of perched tricorn on their head. Like
Yep.
all right.
What kind of feather is sticking out of it, and why is it a peacock?
Why is it a peacock feather?
Just like this magnificent rainbow colored peacock feather, the
So
most
big.
the most ridiculously oversized one that you've ever seen.
Right. That's their space hat, because like you can't wear that in the real wind, because that's gone. That's their space hat.
They'll
All right.
as they're taking the, they'll take their ever living rose out and tuck it up there with it.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I imagine like as they were running up the steps, they just scooped up Dog, who was running the other direction, and stuffed them in there
Yeah.
into their bag.
Dog has like a cool new bandana around their neck, and also a small hat with a feather in it. Dog's having a great time, by the way. But let's see what happens when Faye grabs the wheel.
Okay. That is a 4. My navigate skill is 7, so that's a success.
All right. So what
Okay.
what you succeed? What do you succeed in doing? What does this look like?
I think what Faye essentially had them pile up all of the crates on one side of the ship, and so they're just going to turn it so that we're essentially now broadside towards the pursuing ships, and that tees it up for.
Is this just a spin the wheel maneuver? Is this just let it happen? Yep.
Yep.
I love it. Okay.
All right.
So now we
Pressure.
have motion doing some telekinesis.
Come on, motion.
Oh, that's awesome. My telekinesis is an 8, and I rolled a 3.
Hell
Ooh.
yeah.
I mean, we're not technically in combat, so fumble rules don't apply, but if you roll a double 1 in combat, it's not great. So
Cool. I'll
three,
keep
three's
that in
better.
mind.
Three's
Three's
better.
great.
Three is the best you can do. So I think these boxes. No, you tell me. Tell me like what's the goal? What are we doing with these boxes?
I think Motion's goal is to create like a minefield sort of thing. Like we're sending it at them for sure, but
Yes.
like spread out so wait, this is 3-dimensional. So spread out
Yeah.
like a
There's motion and
blanket.
coverage. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a blanket
Okay.
dome cube, so that they'd have to like wildly change course or run straight into all of it.
No, I think I don't know if they're necessary. I think this is an extremely well executed and also absolutely bonkers plan that has been enacted here. So I don't think that there's like, I think they're going to run right into them. So let's just say that there's 4 plasmic cores in there, and I have a damage table that I have for what the cannons would do. So we're just going to say that the plasmic core is similar. So each one of you will roll a d6 for me on this damage table, and I will tell you how much damage that it does.
All right. Yeah, I imagine Faye just like as they're all like beginning to run into them, takes their staff and holds it out like a cutlass and yells fire for no good reason, but they saw somebody else do it once.
I see a 6 has been rolled.
4.
So that is 14 damage.
I also rolled a 6.
Plus 14 plus a 4 is 12 damage. And another 4.
You rolled pretty good.
Yep. So 28 plus 24, 32, 42. 42.
Woo! That is
So
double amount of mine.
yeah. So again, like in Troika, there's not like a ton of emphasis put on like micromanaging a ton of different stuff. So basically I have kind of like a collective HP, like a collective stamina that I've assigned to these 3 ships. And this is basically going to like outright destroy one of the side ships. The other one is like takes one and then like kind of curves off to the side. And then the main ship just barrels through one, and just like, you can see that it is like rock to the ship, but it's so big and well made that like they're okay with that. Like, yeah, maybe they've lost a cannon or something off the front, so they're not going to be firing cannons at you straight on anymore. But I think they barrel through it, they take the damage, and now you are kind of sitting like, looked at the chat, ship battle. Yep, this is ship battle.
Ship battle.
You have basically broadsided them, effectively stopping. Like you have kind of dissipated all momentum that this ship had, and they are now coming around broadside as well, like doing like a very like a pull out and then like a swerve back to broadside you. So now in 3-dimensional space, these ships are broadside. And I'm going to take us into combat rules because I love the initiative system of this. I know we're not like in direct hand-to-hand combat here, but the initiative system of Troika is so wild and interesting that I want to do it. So like, here's my initiative bag, by the way, if you want to get like, this is what we're doing here. Each of the characters has a color. This is Faye. This is Rizal. These are motion. Green is Exy. Red is going to be when the round is over. I am going to put in, let's say, what do we got here? I'm going to put in 12 of these white cubes to represent the enemies on the other ship. And I'm going to put in 8 to represent the other members of this ship. And initiative goes like this. I'm going to pull tokens out of this bag, and whoever's color I pull does a thing until I pull out the red one, and then the round is over and we start over. So, white, yellow. Yellow? It is yellow.
Oh.
Yay, that's you.
All right, resolve.
Let's make some magic happen.
Make some magic.
So I'm aware that these ships are powered somewhat by, like, they're powered by technology, but also in part by magic. And I can see that these ships, as the enemy ship as it's turning, they're very clearly magical sails working. Yes.
Yep.
I would like to try and undo the magic of their sails.
Like,
So undo for the folks at home, undo is a very interesting spell because this whenever Rizal is casting spells, he is taking stamina away from himself.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I trust you. Stamina is also life. If you put those two things together, the cost of undo is twice what it cost to cast the original spell. So just for funsies, I want to ask result how much stamina they have left.
10.
So we will say that the cost to power the sails was 4, and it's going to cost you 8 to undo them.
Okay.
And if we can pull this off, it'll be huge. I mean, I'm the type of GM where if you undo my plan like this, I'm okay with it. Like, this is one of those moments where some kind of GM might be really upset about such a maneuver, but for 8 stamina,
4.
I think if I remember correctly, your skill on undo was 7.
7.
So 4 is good. I think those sails go dark.
Oh my god.
I think maybe they even like dissipate. Maybe they just kind of like puff away. Like those sails are gone.
Oh no.
Point my wand at it
Yeah.
as I like exclaim, just behold my power. As I just whisk my hand across as if I'm just like ripping away something, and just the power of the
Oh yeah, the sails like follow the hand and immediately just like wisp it in cloud as if you had like run your hand quickly through a fog or a gas. It just puffs away.
And then maybe a moment later, I just collapse to my knees from the exhaustion.
And the ship stops. The ship stops. I love it. All right. That was a big turn.
Wow.
Oh no.
The ship,
That's enemies.
while stopped, the people driving the ship are obviously a little put out. The people that were manning the cannons are totally fine. So a shot goes off. So in combat, we do contested rolls. So I'm going to have one of you, narratively, we already said that you stopped the ship. The ship is not moving. So like, this could be a thing where like, if we were moving, the navigate might work. So unless somebody can come up with a good reason why you might be able to help make that shot not hit this ship.
I think Faye, Faye's at the helm. So like if they are warned or see the shot coming, they could try and move the ship out of the way of it.
I mean, you can see the shot go off as like, you can see a firearm being discharged.
Fair.
But like, these are energy weapons. So that shot's coming, like, it's still projectile, but it's not going to take a whole long time to get here.
Yeah.
Can
So-
I try to telekinesis them again?
What
Like the shots, stop them.
Yes, absolutely. You can try and
Okay.
do that.
Then I'll try and do that.
So we'll do, so the way we rationalize this instead of like stacking stuff is we'll just do a contested roll. So I'll basically roll the shot that is being
Okay.
made, and then you can roll, nope, didn't make a card for the ship. Where's the ship? I made a ship. Where are you? There you are. Oh, wait, 8. Okay, so I'm gonna roll with 5 plus 5 plus 8, 13. So I got 13 on their shot. So you'll basically do your telekinesis. So when we're doing contested rolls, you roll a little bit differently. You roll 2d6 and then you add your skill to it. So you'll add your total value for telekinesis, which I believe is an 8.
It is an 8. So
So
let's see
you'll-
how this goes. You said double ones is a fumble.
Oh.
We actually, and we just got into combat too. So let's find out
Oh.
more about what fumble means.
Oh no.
Love to explore.
Yes, a roll of double ones in combat results in the roller losing the exchange and their opponent adding 1 to their damage roll.
You made
So-
it easier for them to hit the ship.
Do you remember when we rolled those really big numbers and did 42 damage to these ships?
Yeah, I hate that.
It's the same numbers. They're gonna.
Oh.
So let's see. They rolled a 5 plus 1 is, where'd we go? 14 damage. So yes, the ship, the Fearsome Knight is struck by this energy weapon. I think like what the plus 1 to the damage roll is like, yeah, you affected it. Like you got your telekinesis off. It just like pushed it into a worse place of the ship. So it like punched a hole. I don't know. What do we want to say?
Instead of going backwards, it went a little bit to the left.
Yeah. So I think the ship loses some kind of function. Like, so I'll let
Punched a
y'all
hole through one of the
decide.
sails, maybe.
So either the ship loses like locomotion, it loses maneuverability, it loses some of its weapons, it loses some of its crew. Or fun opportunity that I just realized we have the opportunity to do is you can tell me if it hits the cargo hold or not.
I have a question.
What
Uh-huh.
does that mean?
Does the Fool's special ability come into play here because I am not the one rolling?
I wouldn't say so. Like, I think like if this shot was causing you okay, so here's what I think. We will decide what that shot hits and what it affects. And if the Fool is put in danger by that decision, then you can definitely do your luck to sidestep that damage. I'm not trying to cause any damage to anybody right now. My assumption is that if that 14 damage hit, certainly if it hit Rizal at this point, it would just vaporize him. So we're not saying, these shots are going to hit the ship. We're doing ship-to-ship combat. They're not aiming at people. But yeah, so let's decide what that shot hits. Again, the cargo hold is interesting here. But you can, whatever kind of story is interesting to you guys, but that shot's going to hit something critical and do something interesting.
Saying cargo hold is interesting, and that is just such a
It's so tantalizing.
Uh-huh.
What is in the cargo hold?
I'm
You can
really
find
curious.
out. You can find out. You have the power.
We can find out by potentially blowing it up.
I am inclined to have it hit the cargo hold just to see what happens.
yeah.
I
It's the
know,
one
me
shot
too.
they did.
Me too.
We did say high chaos run.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the shot. It originally, like when it first contacts the ship, it doesn't look that bad. It kind of hits this weird, like big flat midsection of the ship. It doesn't hit a sail. It doesn't hit people. It doesn't hit any of the cannons. So for the first few seconds of this, it doesn't look that bad. What it does mean though is that very quickly after that, extremely large tentacles start worming their way out of the hole and kind of wrap their way out and then propel out a giant squid.
Oh!
I know that there are people who are not like, okay, I'm an okay DM. I'm an okay GM. But I didn't hear whales and immediately go, well, I got to put squids in here. I wrote squids down 2 days ago to put space squids in here. And then we started talking about whales, and I'm really excited for squid on whale combat. But yes, so a giant squid has basically propelled itself out of the cargo hold. And it is making, again, it's a similar to like that, so that the klaxon noise from the other ship was like a magic projection of noise. This screeching noise that this creature is creating is inside your brain. It is just reverberating inside your skull, and it is awful. It is a very bad noise. I am going to put 4 more white cubes in this bag because now a giant squid is in the mix.
It's my task to fight this squid? I hope so.
I think your task is to deal with the squid.
Yes!
Okay, white. So another shot comes in. Do we want to? Is motion just like waving off shots? Is that
Unless we have a better idea.
So
Yes.
I think it's fine because, like I said, normally what we would do to contest these rolls in combat was going to be like maneuvering the ship. There's going to basically be that's the counter. It's never in Troika. It's never just like my attack versus your armor. It can be whatever. The contesting of the roll isn't necessarily 1-to-1. Sometimes it's swords clashing against other swords. Sometimes it's dodging. Since these two ships are both in a position where they have literally stopped with their guns pointing at each other, there's not a lot of ability to contest it unless you want to kind of get in the way.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give it another go.
Okay.
Swear,
This
if
time,
you give me 2 ones again, we're not talking.
this time I have rolled a 17.
Now I have to do math. A 6 plus 8 is less than 17.
By a little
Yes.
bit, yep.
Five
Yeah.
is so low.
So a 3 translates to, where'd my cannon go? A 3 translates to 8. What did we have before? It was 14, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is just like this hits the ship. You know, I'm assuming there's some like, red shirt type characters who are like kind of flung off the ship a little bit. We've kind of gotten down to the nitty gritty of what we're doing here. And, wood splinters, the ship's rocked. I think there's probably a little drifting happening now. Like there's some impacts and we are in space. And even though there is air in space, there's still no friction in space because wait. Are we still telekinesising against these?
Is there anything I can do to try and like get the ship underway or use it to get us out of the way?
I mean, I think so the way that this would work is like now that we are in combat, like you can, if I draw a blue, you can do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Basically, when it's right now, you're basically white is acting. White has act. So you're basically responding. So again, my original intent here was that the ship itself was going to combat these roles simply by maneuvering. So
Got it.
right now in the few seconds that have been happening here in these roles, these 5 to 10 second turns, cannons are going off and, Motion is like waving these shots off in a desperate attempt to give other people the time and space to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's try it again.
I rolled an 18 this time.
Oh, that's fine, because I rolled an 11 on the dice.
11
Plus
plus
8.
18. So, I'm at 18, you're at 19. Yep. No, it's
So close.
we're picking it up. Yeah. So like this, you've curved this shot just like completely away from the ship at like a 90-degree angle. And I think like some of the crew and the captain take notice of this because obviously that is not a thing that these plasmic shots do in space. So it's good. I like it. Okay. Squid. It's time for squid.
Oh no.
I want to fight this squid so bad.
I think
I want
this
Squid to fight them first, but I don't think that's happening.
I mean, let's think about it. Like the shot hit the ship, ripped a hole open, the squid propelled itself straight out, and it is now going at the other ship. So I think it is entirely reasonable that squid would do some kind of attack there. So I'm going to do squid versus ship. Uh-oh, bad for squid. So I think squid is trying to like get on the ship, wrap its tentacles around them. It doesn't, let's see, squid takes 12. So, and I think everybody not only hears the anguish, like the squid, but feels like another like pulse of that like squid catching plasmic cannon charges like head on as it like tries to wrap itself around the ship. I'm thinking big squid, right? I'm thinking like Kraken level squid, and it's like wrap. So it hurt, but obviously big squid. So I think it's still in the fight here. Pink, your ship.
Yes.
Who wants to portray random deckhand number 4 firing off a plasmic cannon? Who wants to fire a shot? I've been rolling too many dice.
I'll roll. Bram, you roll one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4. Let's see.
Yeah, deckhand number 4.
Come on, number 4.
That's an 11.
I don't think they're doing any, like, they're not maneuvering. I don't think they have anyone with like grand telekinetic powers on their ship throwing stuff off. So I think the choice, let's just make it a choice. Are you aiming at, would that deckhand be aiming at the squid or the ship?
Let's say like they were already aiming at the ship, because I'm assuming
Squid
that
just happened.
squid just
Squid
happened,
just
and
happened.
also squids
Fair,
are their
fair.
cargo, and you don't hurt your cargo.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Give me a damage roll, 1d6 on this plasmic cannon chart. 4, 12 more damage on the queen ship. And yeah, no, this is the one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, right? Where just like pieces of ship are just getting like ripped off back and forth as these two ships go head to head.
Is that a blue die?
It's a blue one.
It is. All right, what's she gonna do?
Yeah.
All right, we are being shot a lot, and there's a big squid friend down there. That's helping us.
Faye has already decided that they are friends with the squid.
Yes, this is. This is a thing. I mean, the squid's helping us.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
This is now Operation Save the Squid. So I would like to maneuver us into. I would like to try and get our ship underway and maneuver us such that like it is harder for their cannons to hit us.
Okay.
And so that it's easier for us to hit them without hitting the squid.
Okay. Okay. So this is just what are we doing? Navigate?
Yeah, I think navigate.
Sounds good.
So.
What's your navigate? 7.
Okay. Okay, that's a 10. Is there? Can I?
Yeah. No. Let's see. Let's see what luck. Yeah. Let's talk about luck here. Item luck. Okay. Use of luck in combat. In the case of a tie, you can use luck to break the tie. When a character successfully hits an opponent before rolling, they can test their luck. Current luck score. You can always refuse roll. Yeah, whatever. Test your luck. Let's do it.
Oh hell yeah!
It's a one shot. Do what we want here.
Yeah, whatever.
Holy shit! I made it. That is a 4. My luck is 6 right now. It's now
Nice.
5 after that.
I like it. Yes, every time you test your luck, whether you succeed or not, you have to reduce your luck. You can regain luck between like sessions and stuff, which I think is a very, very cool mechanic. So, okay, so we are. According to our roles in fiction, you have not successfully navigated this ship, but you have gotten lucky. So tell us what that looks like. What does a lucky positioning of the ship look like?
I think that like probably what happens is Faye is like trying to like get us around to the other side of them, and like another cannon shot goes like rocketing past, and they haven't quite realized that this is 3-dimensional, and so like the wheel tilts forward and back, and so they lean forward to like avoid the shot that they feel like is coming right at them, and the whole ship just dives beneath the other one.
We're now in 3-dimensional ship combat.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, like Faye has taken the like our ship and put it underneath them. So like imagine the squid's like on their deck, like wrapping its tendrils around around it. So
yeah, definitely. What was the? Well, that's gonna be the other. So okay, now we have an opportunity to contest incoming shots with navigational skill. Or I mean, I guess fictionally we could say like, broadside guns are basically ineffective here. So like maybe there's nothing to do until they position themselves. So we will get there.
I imagine poor Faye, like after doing that, just like pops back up, throws their hair back out of their face, like gets the hat situating. Is like, I didn't know I could go down.
I didn't know down was an option, guys.
I didn't know.
All right.
What can I do? What can I do now that we are below the other ship?
We are below the other ship, which is trying to kill you and also being attacked by a giant space squid.
And there's still a second ship?
Yeah, there are technically 2 ships. So I think the one got kind of like put off course. So it's like way out of range at this point. It's still like, we'll be basically saying like on their turns, like they'll be maneuvering back around. The ship that you have is like the capital ship. It's like the big gilded ship that's being attacked by this monstrous squid.
More money than sense ship. Gotcha. I'm looking at my skills. I'm trying to figure out how knife fighting could apply in ship combat.
I mean, ship-to-ship combat can always be boarding.
Mm-hmm.
You are also free to take advantage of the plasmic cannons if you would like to fire a cannon. That is an option that everybody has. Since you probably don't have a skill in firing a plasmic cannon, it'll just be your skill roll. But that is a thing you could do.
Okay. I think that's what I'm going to do then. So I'm trying to roll below my general skill.
Yeah. So anytime you're doing something that isn't one of your advanced skills, you're just taking your base skill, which I believe for motion is a 5.
It is a 5. If I could get better handwriting. Yeah, let's just fire a cannon directly upward. No, that's a 7. I don't think I can fire a cannon.
Yeah, I think the shot goes wide. It probably like antagonizes the squid, but like they're like
The squiz is busy.
they're busy. They got stuff to do. So sounds good. Okay. We have another attempt to fire on them. And it's not really like a disadvantage mechanic that I am aware of in here. So I'm just going to say, unless anybody has a clever idea for what a crew member of the Fearsome Knight might be doing in this situation, I'm just going to say they get to get a shot off with a plasmic cannon.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Just trying to shoot wildly.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Okay, so then plasmic cannon damage 3. That's another 8. We are up to 54. Makes 60. What's it? 62 total now. I have a number in mind. We're getting there.
All right.
Okay.
For the big ship, right? The big
For the ships, yeah, the ships have numbers. Yep, the
right,
ships
okay.
have secret hidden numbers that we're getting to.
Yay! Okay. So, at the, first thought, Xy's like, I'm gonna fight this squid. Second thought is, okay, the squid's helping us. Maybe I don't fight this squid. Third thought, I'm also going to be a squid.
Sure, it's a reasonable thought process.
I like that progression of thoughts.
Yep.
So Exy is going to do their best to jump off and be a squid.
Sounds good.
That's what's gonna happen. We will see.
I believe Exy has a very reasonable score for assume shape. So
yes. This is gonna be my first dice roll.
nice.
3. Yes. I big squid.
There's a second space squid. Now, how does that work? Does Exy like customize those things, or is like Exy trying to be that squid, like carbon copy of that squid?
I think Exy has a very good imagination, so I think Exy's gonna keep like some things that a little bit of signify like, that this is Exy. Like I feel like these things, I don't know, maybe like how does like maybe the the 2 tentacles are just extra long. Like
Right.
the 2 squid tentacles are extra long rather than what the other one looks like. And maybe is like a little bit of a different shape, like if that squid is like pink, like maybe Exy's purple or something like that. But you know, Exy's seen this space squid. It's like, okay, safely to be the space squid, I'm gonna model my body after this squid that I'm seeing.
Gotcha. There are now 2 space squids.
Space squid!
Woo!
Woo!
I don't know if that's my entire turn, but I'm gonna try.
Yep. There's like a little bit of move like baked in, so like you're jumping off like the rail of the ship and into space and getting a head start is like plenty of motion, sure.
Yeah. Space squid. We'll see what that happens. That's the end of the
It
round.
is officially the end of the round. So
We all got to have a turn.
I'm going to take out some pink and take out some white to indicate that some ships have been dealt some damage here, and then there's some crews, kind of crew members that are no longer with us. I'm going to dump everything back in the bag. Mechanically, this would be a time where like end of round effects are accounted for here. Being like on fire or spells that say until the end of the round or things like that. would happen here. So I don't think we have any of those things to worry about.
There's like, I imagine like Exy jumps off just in time. Like Faye watches them go and then double takes, and then there's just a giant squid there. It's like, I didn't know you could do squid.
I can do anything. All right, there we go. Faye.
Oh my god.
All right.
There are now 2 squid all over this ship.
There's a squid on the ship. I think there's a squid en route to ship.
Yeah. Exy's going to the other ship. Like, this squid's got this big ship. I'm going to go to the other one. This plan looks to be going well. I'll do the other one.
I think then what Faye will try to do is then run interference for Exy, and kind of put the the bulk of our ship in between the smaller ship and Exy, so it's harder for their cannons to hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Because Faye would rather have the plasmic cannons beat up the ship than their new friend.
Oh, thank you.
Fair.
Yeah. My stamina doesn't increase with the size of my body, right?
Your stamina? No,
No.
not really.
No. I don't think so.
So originally your kind of like your built-in damage is a modest beast.
Yeah.
You're not operating on large beast.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Which is damage that is real good. It's actually, I think, on par. I think this is what I modeled the plasmic cannons after.
Yeah.
So you're on that level of damage now, and also you ignore armor, which ships have armor. So this is a good thing for you.
Okay. So wait, I am doing large.
You
beast,
are now large beast.
Okay. Cool.
Up from modest beast, which again is also ignoring armor. So basically the ships have armor. If you as a person, as a character, were going to try and go do something to the ship, you would have to get through armor in the process. You now are skirting past that armor. The plasmic cannons can skirt past armor. They punch a hole through armor.
Yes.
So we're doing good.
Yes. All right. Cool. I will look up what the large beast does. But
All right.
We'll keep going.
Okay, so sorry, Faye, we were talking about positioning the ship. That was what we were doing?
Yeah, basically like running interference for Exy, like Squid Exy. And like essentially, I imagine like Exy, us kind of like diagonally heading towards the ship so that if they try to broadside us, they'll hit the ship before they hit Exy.
Mm-hmm. Are you like, so Exy's plan was to go after like that secondary ship, which is kind of coming in from like outside. Are you like putting up the ship to like kind of like coast past their vision, and then like as it clears, the squid is like behind the ship?
That's the idea.
I love it. I think what we'll do basically then is, so we're gonna kind of muck around with the rules a little bit. Like when you have a ranged weapon, you can take your action to aim, and it basically means that you can roll twice when you do the actual attack and take the better roll. So basically the next time Exy has a chance to attack that ship from this position, Exy will get an opportunity to roll twice and take the better of the rolls.
Yes.
So that's what we're
Give
gonna
me
do.
advantage.
Yeah, it's basically advantage.
Oh, how lucky! That's me. Okay. So I imagine that we're now closer to some of the shrapnel from ship A and the minefield.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
You're basically like, the ship is creating a smoke screen for Exy as a squid. I think cinematically what will be interesting is as it passes and allows Exy that chance, it's then going to like kind of like skim through like the busted remnants of that other ship, like go between two halves of the ship or something. So lots of wreckage, lots of ship parts. Maybe somebody who is used to acrobatics and rope could see a path here. They can see some ropes and ship parts and masts and rigging and boxes that create sort of a floating bridge type situation that basically could take you anywhere around this battlefield you wanted to go, if that's what you're interested in.
I like that. I like that a lot. I had been thinking, that ship probably had some plasma cores if they didn't all explode.
Mm-hmm.
What if I could just yeet them at
Uh-huh.
one of the ships.
Yep.
So I'm going to remain on this ship and just
Okay.
yeet at the other ship.
All right. So some telekinesis happening here.
Yeah. Oh, nope, rolled too high. That was an 8. I rolled an 11 again.
Let's make it a contested roll then. I'll give an opportunity here. So we're gonna do, let's call it the ships. I don't know, like the ships navigate basically. Where's the ship? There's a ship. 12. What did you say you rolled?
I rolled an 11.
Okay, so they. What
If
were you
it's
throwing?
contested, am I adding my telekinesis?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, you do.
So
roll
yeah,
an
then that would be
added
a 19.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
say.
Woo!
What we're talking about. Yeah, so like what are you like, are you specifically throwing like plasma cores? Are you like throwing whole cannons? Are you throwing a whole piece of a ship?
Plasma cores, maybe a whole cannon because there's a plasma core inside of it.
Yep.
Just right at the ship.
All right. Go ahead
Take
and roll
this.
me a d6 then on the plasmic cannon damage.
Okay. That's a 3 this time.
That's 8 more damage to the queen, to like the capital ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you, and I think like from the angle, like we're kind of positioning below, so you like tear a huge part of like the kind of like underside of the ship right off, and kind of expose some of its inner workings.
Ooh.
Pull them all out.
Ew.
I'm gonna get some ship guts.
Was that yellow?
That's a yellow.
Yay!
Okay. Ooh.
Holding a yellow out in front of me against the screen makes it extremely hard to tell if it's yellow or white. So that's a yellow.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So, magic is at an all-time low for me. But I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to use, because I'd like to help the crew members of the ship
Mhm.
by using my second sight
Mhm.
and trying to identify where does the other ship keep all of their plasmic cores.
Yep.
Because with second sight, if I achieve this task, I can see where things are magical, and I'm gonna make the guess that a
Yep.
cluster of plasmic cores are gonna be highly magical.
Especially on a completely disabled ship also would make that
Yeah.
stand out pretty well. So absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to point out, hey, target there.
All right.
That is I just got under. That is a
Nice.
7.
Ooh.
So yeah. So you can see so you can see like small piles of plasmic cores on the deck that are near each cannon. They are there for like reloading purposes, but definitely like, yeah, in like the kind of, I'm trying to think of like where would you store dangerous stuff on a ship like that? It's probably like middle center, right? Like you try and keep it away from all the edges, and so it's not in the front, it's not in the back. But yeah, there's definitely like, that's where it is. You can see it. It's glowing hot. It's a huge pile of plasmic cores.
The equivalent
and
of a
I was just
powder
like-
magazine in an old sailing ship.
It's exactly what it is.
And with all the
Um,
damage, there may be
yeah.
some like low places.
I think, I think
know.
again, like that'll be some kind of boost. Either it'll be like a roll twice and take the better, or if they're just going to make the shot, then it'll be like +1 damage. So we'll see whichever bonus makes the most sense. Wait, it is squid, but it's not the squid that's on the ship. There is more screeching. There is more of this kind of like psychic energy, and probably like let's say like the back half of that busted ship kind of like floats away, and there's like 3 more squids coming. You got that large beast bonus, but there's a thing above large beast called gargantuan beast, and
Yeah.
that's what these squids are. If you want to like,
a squid baby.
if you want to take account of the squid you are Kraken infant is what you are.
Oh.
Cloud Kraken is what what these are, and they are very, very large, and they are very, very rough. So they come into play.
X is a little bit like, oh dang, I want to be that one.
You didn't get the XL model. You got the, you got the big one. But so I think they're coming in hot, and I'm gonna just do some gigantic beast damage.
Angry mamas.
So that's 18, or sorry, yeah, that's 18. That's 18 damage. And they are, let's see, what's that put it up to? They are just like tearing the capital ship apart. Like they land and are just like they're not like, this isn't that horror movie where like they're picking off the individual people from the deck. Like they don't rationalize individual human beings. So like they're just tearing the literal ship apart and just tearing huge chunks off. Tentacles are wrapping around masts. The suction cups are just like ripping paneling off of everything.
The capital ship is a stress ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun fact, they're going to attack whatever ship the infant was on. We'll find out if they get confused by the second infant at some point.
I know. I realized that too. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
So they're going to continue firing on. Let's say that they, in Faye's positioning of the ship, they're going to take some shots at the other ship as they're passing by. They're going to take an opportunity. I think Rizal's like battlefield vision here is just as valid on the other ship. Mm-hmm. So I think like we can direct them to that. So what we will do is I'm going to, Ron, why don't you go ahead and roll 2d6 for them firing it, and it's plus, what did I give them? Plus 8.
Plus 8.
And then I'm going to roll plus the navigation of the other ship. So I got 18.
Oh, I got 12.
So let's do this. Since it's contested, you roll that one. Roll a second time. We'll take the better of the two values.
That's double sixes.
I don't think that's an oops because you're not casting a spell, but I'm going to double check here real fast. I think double sixes are different in combat.
In combat, yeah. I just wanted to say that. Yeah, so that's
it's a wasted oops roll. On a spell, a double 6 would have been an oops.
Yeah.
We were so there.
We were so close to an oops.
So close.
You don't have any stamina for spells.
Yeah, let's see.
Well, I can do 2 spells.
And then you're dead.
And then you're dead.
Well, I guess technically I can do one more spell, or I can do all of my spells, but then they're all gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Where is that?
How do I heal people? I don't think any of us can heal anyone.
No.
Well, I can eat a meal.
I have some provisions.
Yeah, I could do that. It's just like,
I can eat this ship. Somehow.
If you roll a double 6 while attacking, you strike a mighty blow, win the exchange, and inflict double damage. I knew that there was something about double 6s in combat. There it is.
Oh my god, are we about to blow this ship apart?
Yep.
Like,
Before I even can get there.
Roll on the damage table. Brom, going to give me 1d6, and we'll double it.
That's a 3.
So second ship, 3 is 8 times 2 is 16. So, I mean, aside from like the throwing plasmic cores at the capital ship earlier, it's the single, I think that might be the single largest damage done per turn. So,
Amazing.
Wait, I think we will do, what's fun and interesting? I think that second ship's gonna do, I think they're gonna come, like they're gonna slide up into a broadside position and take some shots at your ship, which I think will do a contested against Faye's navigation, since Faye's driving the ship. Not good. 12.
so I roll the dice and add my navigate.
Navigate, yep.
So that is 8 plus 7 is 15.
Yep. So shots go wide. It is unclear. This maritime battle is talked about in history books for decades, and it is still unclear as to whether Faye is an extremely gifted sailor or not.
Just
God.
the luckiest. Like,
But the shots go wide. Yeah.
mhm.
White, I think the capital ship is going to fire on some of the squids. So capital ship.
Don't hurt my squids.
We have to save the squid.
Those are your new parents.
Oh, the capital ship gets it by
Transform out
one.
of it. They won't know.
So the capital ship
I could
does.
be a whale and fight them. They don't know.
Let's see.
Their
We
base
have,
form now is now part giant squid.
Yeah, I feel like my things will be like tentacles now instead of like feathers.
But is it proportional?
No. It's proportional to be impossible to move.
capital ship lands some shots on the fast approaching or the big squids that have joined the fray. They take some, squids probably have black blood maybe. So it's hard to see. Oh, you know what? No, it's black blood that like covers up the stars. So you basically just see like the absence of stars to represent, like to see where squids are kind of bleeding out around this ship. Not bleeding out, just bleeding. They're fine.
They're big.
It's just dramatic.
They're big.
Pink. I think it's just it's on your ship. So, I mean, I can leave it to you guys. What do you want? Do you want fire some more shots? What do you want the crew to do here? What can the crew do to assist you?
Actually, yeah, I don't know. I think. Do you guys think just firing on one of the ships would be best?
I think so.
In the small one, like, I feel like the squid got the big one. But maybe the small one, since it just broadsided, but I don't know.
Perhaps, I don't know if this would be something the crew or perhaps the captain would do, but like just you're being overrun. Surrender, turn back.
An ultimatum. Interesting.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, I love that.
that's an interesting choice. I like that.
I like that.
Okay.
That's interesting.
One of you can roll for the captain.
Graham, was your idea. Why don't you make the roll?
With an 8,
Untitled
I will
Chapter.
roll with 9, 17.
13.
So, I mean, the ultimatum goes out. I think it's a valiant effort. I think the captain knows that this, like the Queen's Guard don't back down. They're here by order, right? Like they don't come out for nothing. They come out when the Queen says to come out.
Yeah.
So I think it strikes some fear. I think it's definitely a power move for sure. But I think that's they're still fighting.
Mm-hmm.
More pink.
I feel like that. Yeah, just keep. I mean, the ultimatum didn't work, so fire.
Yeah.
All right, let's just quickly rationalize again by 1 point. And then 4, there's another 10 to the second ship, 26. There's green ones in here. I want to find them.
It's okay.
But it's
Nope, it's Faye. Exy just did one cool thing and turned into a skin, and that's all they're gonna do.
I know, like at this point I'm ready to reach in this bag and grab a green just because I want to see what happens. But for now it's blue.
I imagine. So we've exchanged like salvos at this point. Can I try and actually, and I think this is something that Faye would be distracted by in the heat of all of this, can I try and evaluate what the squid want?
Yes. Yes,
All right.
you can.
We're going to try.
Great thing about this is I literally have an answer for you. So let's see if you...
Oh, 3.
I know exactly what the squid want. The squid want their baby back. I think the other thing here also that maybe Faye puts together in like a kind of a shocking moment of clarity is that the Queensguard are not here for you. The Queensguard are here for the smugglers. They stole this infant cloud kraken off their sphere, and they came to reclaim it.
Oh.
There's a version of this story where you literally do nothing and get away.
Like, that's gonna click together.
Yep.
And like, there's just like, they'll
That's
just.
why it was so fast.
Yep. They were literally not here for you. The guards looking for you are still on the dock.
Yes.
That's exactly
So
it.
fast.
It's like,
I think at that point, Faye will just whirl around to the captain and be like, "You stole a kraken?"
she's cool. So she's just like, you didn't have to get on this ship. And then she just walks away to go do whatever it is she's going to do.
Oh,
Well, we have to give it back.
You kind of already did.
it's gone.
Okay. I'm going to draw a cube out of this bag, but whatever I draw, it's going to be green.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Is it actually green?
legit. I did it legit. If I was going to draw, and if it wasn't green, I was going to pick green.
Oh, thank you.
Because we have a lot of colors, no green. So I want to see what happens. We have narratively set up that Faye maneuvered the ship in such a way to kind of occlude your existence to the small ship. And I think now is when the ship parts and you have that opportunity.
Exy metaphorically, because they can't because they're a squid, but cracks their knuckles and goes to just like wrap around this ship and just start crushing it.
So we'll do a contested against their ship, but you get to roll twice and take the better of your two rolls.
Yes. Okay. So I'm trying to get high numbers.
So I would just say you're doing your natural fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you roll the 2 and then add your 8 to that.
Oh, okay. Rolled 15, I think. 7 plus 8.
7 plus
Roll
8.
again,
I got
see
17.
if you get double sixes.
So yes, okay. So but that's one roll. Roll the second time. I got 17.
Oh, right.
So roll those and take the better.
It's literally 7 again.
Oh no.
I mean, what do you think is narratively interesting? Do you want to miss? Do you want to like land on the ship but like be kind of like put off? So this ship has had no like real heartache, so like they still have a full crew ready to go. So are they just like fending you off the deck?
Yeah, they are way more prepared for a squid than I expected them to be.
Yeah, they've had about
Like,
they've had 45 more seconds than the other ship to like deal with the fact that there are giant space squids here.
Yep.
Tearing stuff apart. So I think like, yeah, I think you land. I think you're like right there. And they're just using their, spears and pistols and things just to ward you off. So you can't quite land any, you're doing too much dodging to land an attack.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense. I like it.
Wouldn't it be wild if I just pulled like the last screen out of the bag?
You can do it. You can do
Nope,
it.
yellow.
Nope, yellow. All right, Raval.
Let's see. There's like the whole like you stole like I'm guessing Faye's exclamation was not very quiet.
No.
It didn't sound quiet.
No, so it's just like I'm just like. So there's just gonna be a look. I'm going to see if there was only one baby squid or if there are more baby squids down below. By saying I'm going to go and see, I'm going to literally now exhaustedly rush down the decks to where the open hole is. And see if there is.
Yes. So we don't need like the action will just be the movement. It'll just be clearing that distance in that amount of time. There are no other squids there, but you find a big egg.
Oh.
Games are
Okay.
fun.
You know what? I'm just gonna yell up. I don't know if you're gonna hear it. I'm just gonna yell up egg.
Egg.
Faye from the helm is just like, you
That's the end of our round.
The question is, were they stealing it back from the bad place, or let's hope the city? Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see. Were they gonna smuggle it? Who knows?
So that's the end of our round. We are 8 minutes over. Do we need to wrap up?
I want to at least finish this.
I know.
We can do it. Does anyone have to leave?
I mean,
I have time.
I have time.
all right. Let's do another round. We can figure this out.
We can do this.
Everybody's back in there. What are we down to? Let's just say even numbers of pink and white. Pink. What do we say? So Faye has piloted our ship and is kind of skating through the wreckage, left kind of the broadside position. What do we want to do? What can the crew do to facilitate your master plans? You want to do something with that egg?
I was just gonna say we have to give the egg back, right?
Yeah. Gotta
We,
give that egg back.
can we have them bring it on deck?
Or just push it out the hole too.
I was gonna push it out
It
the
might-
hole on my turn.
It might get actually if we could get it to motion, you could telekinesis the egg back to them.
That's
Yeah.
true.
They can spend they hear Rizal's screams. They are reluctant because that is their like precious cargo. But I think it's not hard to convince them with what's going on that the egg's got to go. So self-preservation, I think, Rizal can say like, hey, take that to motion, and they can go do that.
Mm-hmm.
So motion is now in possession of an egg, a big egg.
Got an egg.
Got an egg. Now you got the egg. You got the egg.
I got the egg. Okay. But okay. I was so
What do
excited.
we do with this egg?
What do I do with an egg? Excuse me. No. Levitate isn't going to help me here. It's just going to have to be telekinesis, which is fine. I feel like it might be a little boring for our viewers, but it's fine. Let's telekinesis an egg.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a shit. That's a 1. That's 2 1s.
You roll 2 1s.
I don't want to fumble the egg.
I mean,
I fumbled the egg.
so the fumble rules are a bit weird because they pretty much only explicitly talk about in combat losing the exchange and taking more damage. But I feel like something's got to happen, right?
Well, I mean, if this is under casting a spell, right? Or
Well, telekinesis is just this thing I can do.
Ah.
From,
Yeah, telekinesis is just in kind of an innate ability. I didn't make it
Yeah,
a spell. I
I'm
could
a-
make it a spell.
I'm a person who telekinesis.
Oh, right. Because wait, is it double one? Is it double one on spells and oops?
no, that's just an automatic success. So that's why. I
Oh,
was-
double ones will always succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
telekinesis
oh.
is a spell. Go for it.
Oh,
Okay, so it wins.
Roller coaster of emotion.
Okay.
Okay.
So that egg's gonna go real good then.
Yes. What's the goal? Where's
other
the egg
side.
going?
Okay, so there's 2 parents, right?
There were 3 big ones. There's the original
3.
infant that came out of the
Cool.
hole, and then there's the Xe squid that
I
is.
don't wanna I don't wanna
Different
assume
color.
it's a squid polycule. Maybe it's just a squid pod.
Sure,
I
a
don't
pod
know
of squids,
how
that sounds
squids
right.
work. Honestly. So is there one squid in this pod that doesn't look entirely engaged in just beating the crap out of a ship?
Sure.
Cool. I'm gently floating this egg
Yeah.
towards that one.
Yeah, no, I think, there's like two of the big squids are just like wreaking havoc on this ship. And then there's one that's like looking around. There's one that's like prodding tentacles into portholes and like opening up doors, not in like a destructive way, but definitely like a searching type of maneuver. So
that one's getting this egg. Yeah.
Gets the egg. All right.
If I could make it look like it's floating from the wreckage of the broken ship.
Sure. Absolutely. I think we literally said your ship is going through the wreckage right now.
Yeah, so like from the wreckage, not from our actively not a wreck ship.
Don't attack us, please. Rival.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. I think just gonna, like, once that's been delivered and up, just gonna head on deck. I'm gonna try and catch my breath for a moment, which is to say catch my breath and take a snack as I surreptitiously to get a bit of a stamina back.
You want some of that stamina back? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You get some of the stamina back.
Which is just, I'm just trying to, like, I'm just taking a breather after all that. And that is, so I roll a d6. I can't remember if there's anything more. It's just a d6 and I get that, if I'm correct.
I think so, yeah.
Yep, and I rolled 4, so I get back 4. So I'm now at a healthy 6. Whew. Oh.
Oh, I can go! All right. Gonna kind of crush this ship again. Not interesting, but I wanted to work this time. So roll and then add my 8.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 18.
15.
Yes!
Woo!
I finally figured out how to crush.
There you go.
So
do you have that large beast row in front of you?
I do. I wrote it down. So do I roll 2 d6s or just
You
one?
roll 1d6,
Okay.
and then you basically look at the number you roll along the top of that chart, and then go down to where it says large beast and find the number that's in that cell. And that's
How is it possible to get 7+ with only 1d6?
You can sometimes get a +1 on your damage roll.
Got it. Okay. I did 10 damage. I rolled a 4, so that's 10 damage.
All right. What's like your preferred methodology here? Are you trying to destroy the ship? Are you trying to like swipe the people off the deck? Where's the damage go?
Xe is just chaotic. Xe is not really caring. It's just kind of like crush.
Okay.
So I was trying to destroy the ship.
Gotcha.
Like the other one was destroyed with the plasma cannon. Since like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just crushing as much as I can.
No, I think you grab it like around the waist of the ship. It's a technical term. And just start like heaving it in, and it's like starting to collapse in on itself.
Yes. Just
biggest hug.
Big hug to death. Ooh. More egg shenanigans.
The egg has been yeeted. What does motion do now?
Egg has been yeeted, so they've gotten what they want. We still have. Is there anything that? No, I feel like Xe has that one covered. Is there anything that Xe needs over there? Just more smash, I guess. Yeah.
More smash if you can like help. I don't know, like help tear the ship apart with telekinesis.
It is telekinesis. It does not say cannot be used to tear ship apart.
Yeah, could you like help me like just break it in half, and then I'll over time just keep making it smaller.
Yeah, my headcanon for the Hanged Man here is just Jean Grey, but powers gained from hanging instead of from
you get all the blood in the brain. Yeah. That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's just science.
That's just science.
just look it up, okay?
Fine.
So, sure. Let me try to do a wreck.
Okay. So I think we gotta maintain now. Like I gave telekinesis as a spell. I think telekinesis is a spell now. So now
Okay.
you're doing spell rolls.
So
So now
how much does
if it's
telekinesis cost?
very good point. I think if I want to get like weird, it'd be like depends on what you're doing with it.
Okay.
So like it
I
could
like
be
that.
a variable amount. So I think like tear a ship in half is maybe like a 6.
Yeah, I could do a 6. I haven't. All right.
Yeah, we never really got to the like fight individual people portion of this combat. We just went to like squids and cannons and stuff. So everybody's got a lot of stamina. So
Yeah.
Well,
So
relatively.
I rolled
Good
a
for you.
6, which is under 8.
correct.
So I can take a 6 damage to
Yeah,
rip a ship in half.
yeah. Ship gets ripped in half. Now there's two half ships.
2
Yes!
half ships.
There are 4 halves of ships floating through the sky.
Dig it.
Yeah, I think like it cracks along the fault that Exie was making, and
Mhm.
like as it splinters, Exie just like crumples around it and is just like in the center of this like ring of wreckage now.
Just like the little beak just napping at
Yep.
both parts. Like, who am I gonna go to?
Yeah, I dig it. I dig this.
All right.
Do we want to move the ship? Are we?
I think we should probably start.
I
We-
think
now
we
that
solved
everything-
this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I think we want to like Faye. I imagine is like half in charge of what's happening here, but like they want to swing the ship around so that we can pick Exie up on our way out.
Yeah, I feel like Exie at this point is just having fun. And is like, I don't care, but what's actually happening?
Yep, I like it. Okay, so then yeah, you'll come around through that debris field into the other debris field, and with the intention of being proximate to Exie.
Mhm.
Squids get their egg. I think it's like squid with egg, kind of like you hear the screech. It's not great. You don't like the way it feels in your head, but it's definitely not as like catastrophic as the earlier ones were. Like if a like skull splitting psychic screech can be like comforting and warm, like that's what this is. Like that's
Mhm.
the version of it.
Sure.
And I think the like infant and egg carrier kind of like start to like swerve away. And I think there's a couple of like parting shots from the other squids, but they have accomplished what they came to do. So they are basically leaving the capital ship in its kind of shambled yet still functional state.
Mhm. Oh.
The capital ship is going to shoot at the squids.
Oh no!
They have
Yeah,
not
they're-
learned their lesson.
Because they are assholes.
They are assholes.
There's one thing we know, it's that authority figures are assholes.
We'll have to teach them a lesson then.
I could be a bigger squid.
That
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah, they get a squid.
Oh
Ooh,
no.
they get a squid. Damn it. 12. Yeah, they catch one of the big squids. They take it down. They hit one of them. I think there's whatever the opposite of the heartwarming screech is what's happening, and it's like and I think that they move at a pace that is like frenzied, and they just round on the ship. And the two remaining ones, including like egg carrier, infant, all of them just round on the capital ship.
You shut us.
Stop when they're ahead.
I have a plan,
Oh no!
but
what's
it
your plan?
involves. I have a plan that regards the poor squid that was just slain. But I think that might have to. I'm going to start sailing our vessel in that direction. But how bad do these ships look?
Everybody looks pretty bad. I mean, obviously the 2 ships that are ripped in half look really bad. Your ship is, like, if we're talking numbers, your ship is like half bad and their ship is like 80% bad. So
Okay.
like it's still a big ship with a lot more guns and a lot more people on it, but like yeah, percentage wise they've sustained quite a bit of damage.
I would like to begin sailing us towards the slain squid, and then in a way that gives us a broadside on the capital ship.
Tell me more.
Okay.
Tell me more.
What's this plan you have?
Do you want me to tell you what I do when we arrive?
Sure. I think, what we just said was like we used up one of those pink cubes to position a ship. So let's say that's what this was.
Okay.
The ship has been positioned. I want action.
Okay, cool. Then I will pull up to where the squid like currently lays. I imagine dead or dying. And then I would like to take my ever-living rose and see if I can take some of the everlife from it to restore life to the squid that was slain.
Yep. Test luck.
Okay.
Oh, your luck's not great right now, is it?
It's not in a good position at the moment.
What else can we do? There's got to be something we can do.
You did it? Did you do it?
Did you do it? Did you do it?
Would you roll?
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 3. Hold on. I'm just gonna take my camera. I rolled a 3.
I believe you. You're not gonna lie to us. All right. Tell me about it. Tell me what happens.
Okay, I've had this image in my head, and I had nowhere to put it, but now I do have a place to put it. I imagine that like the ship almost comes up and like coasts to a stop, and like Faye will let go of the wheel, and like sort of take their bag off and their staff and set it on the deck, and then walk to the back of the ship and like climb over so that they are on the like the outside of the railing that kind of runs around it, and kind of like brace themselves with one arm and then lean out and just hold the flower out to like one of the tendrils of the squid that's just like reaching out towards them, and they just like sort of let go of the flower before the squid's great eye.
I love everything. I don't want to take the flower from you. I mean, it's a one shot, so it's not like super relevant, but like, I'm not going to take the flower from you. I think like the flower grazes the tentacle just like slightly, and that petal is just like kind of like consumed. It just like evaporates into some stardust. I think let's see. So there's a huge pool of just like that black blood that is basically just like sucking light out of the surrounding area. And like maybe that's even like occluding vision of the squid itself. Maybe it's like so just enveloped by all this black, but like a tentacle sticking out. And I think like that tentacle just like kind of like slowly falls into the cloud that is the blood. And for a moment there's nothing. And then it just like rockets out of the cloud towards the capital ship, with the rest of the squid pod that we talked about. I'm really hoping I pull a white cube right now, because
That would be so good.
but it's not. I don't know. Pink can be. I think squid's an ally now,
I think
right?
the squids are friends
It's
now.
definitely an ally now.
We just healed it.
Yeah. So okay, I will do a squid's attack on ship by 1. I gotta look at the gargantuan beast table here real fast. Gigantic beast does 88 plus 12 is 100, and the ship is just destroyed from every angle as the pod. Like, again, you saw like strong, big swinging movements. This is like, how does something that big move so fast? They are just like literally like using like the arrow-tipped point of their heads to just like slam directly through the ship repeatedly in this like weird cloud of squid movement and just tear the ship into pieces. Like it's not even halves of ship. We're just talking like particles of ship are left, planks, boxes, like nothing is spared. It is just consumed in this like cloud of tentacles that just like rips it apart. Let's see.
I think that's the forecastle is just sitting back there, like
Yeah.
on the rail at this point, kind of kicking their legs back and forth out into the like void of space, watching it happen.
Oh, sorry.
Amazing.
It still has that pedal, but that pedal's black now. There we go. Nailed it. It's like 95% there. That was it. That's what we needed.
Yep.
And after they do that, again, they go about their business. I don't want to. I decided that these squids were not going to be like anthropomorphic or anything. Like they are here on a kind of a parental instinct, and they have succeeded in doing that. So they are now back off.
Faye's just waving as they go.
Yeah. You're certain that you see a tentacle wave back. You're absolutely certain of it. No one else sees it though. So what do we got? We got a bunch of derelict ships and you're riding on a ship. Where's your ship's damage? 36. Yeah, you're like half. Sorry, got all sorts of devices in here going off. You have basically half of the ship. So you're like saleable. I think, now that Rizal's here, like any magical needs can be met. You can repower the ship. I think the captain will tell you that, like, yes, the queen had taken the Kraken infant and egg into captivity, and it was going to be used for some nefarious purpose, probably some kind of, I don't know, cliche, like use it for parts in a spell to like save the queen or make her powerful, or some nonsense like that. It doesn't really matter. It was shitty to do. And that this crew was let's say they were hired to get the squid out. And maybe there's some like cool line at the end where the captain like welcomes you into her crew and says that we're going to go, let the boss know that, the job is done.
Xy's just in the background napping at little pieces.
Yeah.
Still as a squid, just grabbing stuff.
So
Big squid in the background.
So yeah, I think we'll just leave it there. I was going to inject some chaos at the end, but I think this is good. I think this feels right.
Heartwarming.
I love this. Yeah.
And that's some articles of Arcana. That's like what's this, like 25% articles of Arcana, 50% Troika, 25%. We told a weird story about space squids.
Space squid!
So
God, dice tell such an amazing story sometimes. Like
they do. Yeah. So, and then again, like real quick call out. Thank you to the, I believe, 4 people who pledged to the Kickstarter during the stream here. We're extremely grateful and thankful. I literally just refreshed it and somebody upped their pledge. We are 40. What are we? $51?
We're $51 away from.
Am I reading that right? We are $51.
We're so close. Nice.
Okay, if somebody, look, I know $51 is a lot. Like, let's all be very clear. I understand that $51 is a lot. If somebody pledges that $51 and we fund right now, I don't know. What am I gonna do? I'll write a campaign for you. I'll run a one shot. What can I do? Like, I want that $51 right now. We didn't get to do chaos mode, but like we did a really heartwarming squid story. And if somebody wants to do that $51 there, I'll owe you, like, favor from Matthew. Like,
could we get the entire? Is there any feasible way we could get the whole team to sign the book? Like,
probably. I mean, like the backer would have to be interested in us mailing this thing around the literal world to get to everybody. But like, yeah, like I'll run a one shot. Like,
I'll Page of Cups one shot.
Yeah. All
We're all
Fish in a cup.
We're all fish in a cup.
I don't know. I don't want to put Bree on the spot, but like maybe Bree does a little bit of art for you or something. Like
I'd be down. Yeah, if you have
if somebody out there wants to get us to our funding goal right now, if I can walk away from this stream funded, I'll write you a campaign. I'll prep stuff. I'll write special backgrounds for you. I'll run a one shot, whatever it is that you need. Whatever you need.
Whatever you need for this $51.
So, I don't want to drag it out because again, I don't want to put anyone on the spot and demand, the $51 there. But I'll tell you what, if you at any point, if you're the backer that if you're listening to this, if you hear this and you're the backer that puts us over $4,500, you just text me, you message me, you let me know that that's you, and it'll count. It doesn't have to be right this second. So.
That'd be so. Oh my gosh. I mean, we can drag it out a little bit more, just doing our end of stream stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, we can all.
Yes, let's do outros, plugs. I'll refresh it right before we leave, see if it's there. But yeah, I've been Matthew Gravlin. I'm the writer for Articles of the Arcana, game designer, writer, commensurate GM. I'm always on this side. I very rarely play in games outside of GM capacities, but. I would absolutely love it if you would go support Articles of the Arcana. We want to make a book. We want to make tarot cards. We want to make all sorts of cool stuff. And you can have some of those things. That's over at Kickstarter. You can get there by going to bit.ly/articlesarcana or just searching Kickstarter for Articles of the Arcana. You can also find me over on, where am I? I'm on Twitter at Mr. Matthew, Mr. Matthew. You can also find my other games, including Mall Kids, several solo journaling games about dinosaurs and fucked up guys looking at you. What else I got on there? I got a sad Met game. I got all sorts of stuff over there.
We're funded.
Did
it happen?
It just happened.
We're funded.
It's on my phone. I saw
it. It's exact.
Yes.
Woo! Oh my God! Thank you so much to whoever is our final backer.
It was a pledge increase.
Yep.
So this is a backer from a while ago. They have stepped up, increased their pledge the exact amount that we needed. We are now officially funded 100%. We are making a book. We're making a tarot deck. It's all coming up. So I'll send that person a message after the fact, and we'll plan something. We'll figure out a cool prize and see what they're into. So very cool. Thank you so much for that. I'll let everybody else talk now because I'll just gush and ramble if I'm allowed to at this stage.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I'll go because I'm already talking. My name is Bree. I am a comic artist and illustrator. I stream on Twitch at Bree Donnan, BRIDANANN. I can spell. That you can find me on my Twitch. My Twitch is that. My Twitter, my Instagram, all that stuff. I do art on Tuesdays and Saturdays and gaming on Thursdays. I'll be streaming tomorrow at 4:30 CDT, CST, time change. So if you liked watching me be Exy, I can narrate even more things in a game tomorrow. I have a lot of other things going on, but if you were here at the beginning, I don't want to bore you. You can find all my stuff on my Twitter and on my Twitch. So I'll see you all over there.
Yeah, I'm John Boyle. I'm a writer, editor, TTRPG streamer. I write and edit for comics, games, and fiction. You can find me either streaming on Fridays on twitch.tv/Rule of Lore, or you can find me on Twitter at Resident Bard, ResidentBard. I've got editing and writing commissions on my website, residentbard.com, so you can find those there. Otherwise, you can find me generally just kind of kicking around the tabletop RPGs corner of the internet. So
there may be some relevant content happening on the Rule of Lore channel this Friday.
Oh, we mentioned that earlier. I was like, I don't know if it's my place to say because I'm not a Rule of Lore content creator, but I know
it's happening.
Thank you for reminding me. By the way, Rule of Lore's usual Friday evening talk show Ramblemancy is often about nerd and nerd sundry or adjacent topics, but this week we are actually having where's Matthew? You're above me.
I'll point. I'll do the pointing.
Matthew on Ramblemancy, our usual Friday evening talk show, to talk about indie game design and what you have just seen tonight, Articles of the Arcana. So if you're interested in what's happening here, you can hear Matthew talk kind of from the design side of things with me and a couple of other folks over on Rule of Lore on Friday. That'll be at 7 p.m. PST.
Yep.
Twitch.tv/Rule of Lore.
Yeah. And boy, do I like talking about game design. So
yeah, listening to you talk about it so far, I've been like, we're gonna easily fill our usual hour and a half.
oh, easy.
Easy.
Try and stop me.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to be in chat.
Sounds super, super great. And I'm Sam. You can find me at Sam Andamiel on Twitter. I do tarot readings. I appear in the next thing I have going is Burn Bright, the Roll20 RPG on Salty Sweet Games on Tuesdays. We didn't play yesterday for obvious reasons. And I'm very excited. So if you would like a tarot reading, find me on Twitter, shoot me a DM. It's like my favorite thing in the world to do besides play tabletop RPGs. So that's Sam Undamiel, like Lord of the Rings character. I made this when I was 14.
And hello, I'll wrap it up here. I'm Bram. You can find me. I'm a freelance sound designer. You can find my links on my Twitter at Defiatos at DEFIATOS, or you can find me and or my stuff on my website at bramsu.com, BRAMXU.com. And I've also dabbled a bit in tabletop RPG design, which you can find the small little library of stuff I've done at defitos.itch.io. And you can occasionally find me in boxes or behind boxes, such as this one, on the show Vibrant Legends, which is hosted on Dicey Amazons. And that runs on Saturdays at 10 p.m. GMT, 5 p.m. EST, 2 p.m. PST. I pulled up the times correctly. Yeah. And that is me. You can find me in following those links or in those places. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I think with that, that's maybe everything we have.
I think that is.
So it's been super fun playing with all of you here, and thank you to everybody who came along with us tonight in chat. I don't know, Ray, if you wanna walk us off at this point.
Thank you, y'all.
We're so happy to be here.
I'm so sorry I named a pirate after you.
MVP, your MVP.
Yar.
It is fine. I am absolutely here for it. Yeah, thank you so much to all of our guests. Make sure to go ahead and follow them on all their wonderful socials. And we will see you very, very soon. Make sure to head over to Rule of Lore in order to check out the chat they're having with Matthew, and go ahead and support everyone else's projects here. There are a whole bunch of links that are spread throughout the chat. Yeah, thank you so much, and congrats on funding.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And